Morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to Last Drafts Baseball's live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League. Tonight, we are bringing you the third and final game of this set between the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters and the Chiba Lotte Marines. It was last night a very bizarre ball game in terms of how the runs were scored, as the Chiba Lotte Marines scored 2 runs off a single wild pitch. And that was ended up what happened. It was a 2-1 ball game as they beat the Ham Fighters. Our friend Fox 12 is in the house. He says, who are we betting on tonight? Well, if you go over to our page, you'll see who we've got here in this one. It is Roki Sasaki on the mound tonight for the Chiba Lotte Marines. And we're going to give you the starting lineups straight away here. We're beginning with the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters. And leading off and playing in center field is number 50, Ryota Isobata. Hitting second and in right field is number 6, Chusei Manami. Batting third and left field is number 7, Go Matsumoto. In the cleanup spot and playing third base is number 5, Yuki Nomura. Batting fifth and playing first base is number 21, Kataro Kiyomiya. Hitting sixth and doing the designated hitting is number 2, Ariel Martinez. Batting seventh at shortstop is number 4, Daigo Kamikawa Kabata. Hitting eighth and doing the catching is number 30, Shingo Usami. Batting ninth at second base is number 38, Kazunori Ishii. And they are going to be facing Roki Sasaki, who makes his first start for the Marines this year. Of course, the rookie phenom last year took the NPB by storm by firing a perfect game and was absolutely electric. He's got a 100-plus mile-an-hour fastball, and that's what he brings to the stage here tonight. Well, that's your starting lineup for the Fighters. Now your starting lineup for the home team from Chiba. Leading off and playing in right field is number 0, Takashi Ojino. Batting second and playing shortstop is number 10, Atsuki Tomasuji. Batting third and playing second base is number 8, Shogo Nakamura. The cleanup spot and playing first base is number 51, Koki Yamaguchi. Batting fifth and doing the designated hitting is number 22, Gregory Polanco. Batting in the sixth spot and playing third base is number 67, Kenta Chitani. Batting seventh and left field is number 25, Hiromi Ota. Batting eighth and doing the catching is number 2, Ko Matsukawa. Batting ninth in center field is number 1, Kyoda Fujiwara, and they're going to be facing a left-hander from the Fighters, and that's going to be Takayuki Kato. He's going to be making his second start of the season. Bit of a tough luck start for him in game 1. He has got an 0-1 record on the year. He's pitched in thrown 7 innings. He's allowed 8 hits, 3 runs, all of which were earned. He's walked none and struck out 3, and he's pitched to an ERA of 3.86. Well, those are your starting lineups. We'll be back in 30 seconds with all the calls here. We hope you guys are going to enjoy this one here with us tonight as much as we like to be here with you. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. It's the top of the order here to face Sasaki in the first inning. It's Isobata, Manami, and Matsumoto. And this is ready to be underway in the first pitch of the ball game as a fastball swung on and missed. And the count is quickly 0-1. Well, that was 160 kilometers right out of the gate. There's your 100-mile-an-hour fastball from Sasaki on full display. And here comes the next offering as he kicks and delivers, and it's a fastball that swung on and missed. The count is 0-2. That ball was up the ladder, and Isobata went for a chase. Isobata batting .067 on the young season with no homers and no RBIs. The Fighters' batting order looks like a lot of carnage with the batting averages here tonight. As there's a fastball swung on, it's grounded softly over to second. Nakamura fields it, and he throws to first. And Isobata is going to be retired on a ground out 4-3 for out number 1. One up and one away, and that brings up Chusei Manami. As I said tonight, when you look up and down the batting order for the Fighters, they've got 2 players that are hitting .263 right on the button. And then Matsumoto's hitting .412. And after that, there is nobody batting over 200. I know it's only in the early going and we've only played 5 games. Sometimes you get some really gaudy numbers both ways. And that is certainly the case here, as the first pitch is a fastball that misses outside and the count is 1-0. This is a lineup that could be ripe to be no hit. And there was a fastball that swung on and missed, and the count is 1-1. In some ways, Sasaki is a man among boys pitching here against the Fighters. We've got Alexander Leggett in the house. We've got Shotgun Shell. And the right-hander works to the set position, though there is nobody on. He delivers it as a split finger pitch and misses down, and the count is 2-1. There's a lot of talk that you're saying that Sasaki will get posted to the MLB in a couple of years' time. And the one thing that I would have to say is that he's going to have to develop a changeup. Going over to Major League Baseball, you can't just rely on the fastball and the splitty. As there's a fastball swung on it, is popped up over on the first base side. Racing over is the catcher, and he can't come up with it. That's Matsukawa, as the wind was playing havoc. Every time we watch games in Chiba, the wind is always an issue. This has got to be the San Francisco of Japanese baseball. The wind here is absolutely incredible. It swirls all the time. And unfortunately for Matsukawa, he wasn't able to make the catch there. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. As a fastball swung on and fouled straight back, and the count remains at 2-2. Fluby says, the under is never safe because the one wacky wild pitch from one of these clowns will tilt the over-under beyond any tiny threshold. Yeah, you got that one there. And so if you're thinking about over-unders tonight, probably the under in this one might be the case. There's the fastball swung on. It is lifted foul down the first base line, and that is going to reach the seats, and the count is going to remain at 2-2. Our friend Fluby also says, that the money line are equally silly teams. Martinez has been productive. That ball last night to end the ball game that Ariel Martinez hit, boy, it was a nail biter because he hit that ball on the screws. If he hits it another 5 feet, it's in the stands. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it's a split finger pitch that misses down, and the count goes to 3-2 on Manami. Manami is one of those ones who has started the season. He's 0 for 5, does not have a hit. Shotgun Shell asked the question if I know the wind is blowing out or in. They did show the flags blowing straight in from center field, but it does have a tendency to swirl in this ballpark. And there's a fastball swung on its pop foul. It's going to reach the seats on the first base side of home plate, and that's going to keep the count at 2-2 to Manami. So the wind does change throughout the ball game. We've noted that a few times. They will flash the video to show how the wind will change, but definitely you start the ball game blowing in from straightaway center field. Curious to see this park this summer and to see how the wind blows. As here's the 3-2 pitch. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is grounded up the middle for a base hit. Manami has his first hit of the season. That's a single. And that is going to bring up the left fielder Go Matsumoto. So a good at bat by Manami. Was not in last night's lineup. We saw him on opening night, and he went down on strikes 3 times. He's only had a couple of at-bats since then, but he did a good job staying back inside the baseball and was able to hit it up the middle for a single, and so they've got themselves a run on. So Shotgun Shell, who asked about the wind blowing in or out, it's definitely something that, plays havoc and can play havoc on your over-under. So many dynamics, especially in the outdoor stadiums. There's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-0 to Matsumoto. We got our friend Mick in the house. So now it is complete. We can officially begin tonight with Mick here. We made our prediction tonight, and we felt that it was the Marines game to win. Chris Neal says, who do I bet on? There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is 1-1. Well, to me, as we talked about on our community page, if you got a chance to go and check in on that earlier, we gave our picks. To me, it is Roki Sasaki and his 100-mile-an-hour plus heater facing Fighters here. That would be my guess, is the young right-hander who had 20 starts last year, was 9-4. He's 21 years old at some point this season as he reaches for the rosin bag after throwing over to first base. Shotgun Shell says the Marines because he has the Fighters. Yeah, there you go. When in doubt, go the other way. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. As the right-hander delivers, it's a fastball. It's a check swing. It's tapped in front of the plate. Fielded by the catcher. He fires down to second base. Matsukawa was able to pounce on that ball and fire it down to second. That's going to be a force out. What a play by the catcher there. So Manami going to be erased on the fielder's choice. That's going to go 2-6. He's gone for out number 2. Matsumoto is safe at first base. That's going to leave it all up to the third baseman Nakamura. And I have to say, that was a really good play by the shortstop, Tomosuji, who had to pick the ball out of the dirt. He got to the bag, and then he had to reach back to the shortstop side to pull it out of the dirt. But it is a out for out number 2, and that brings Yuki Nomura to the plate. Nomura batting .263 with a homer and 5 RBIs. As the kicks and delivers does Sasaki. It's a fastball swung on and missed. The count is 0-1. A friend Jorge in here, I think it's Jorge or maybe it's George. He says, I bet 1.5 on the local points. Can I win it? Well, the problem is can they score enough runs to get over the 1.5? There's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is now 1-1 to Nomura. Our friend Patty's asked the question. He says, is the under a good bet here? These two teams are offensively starved, Patty. The over-under could be 1.5, and you still might be a good bet. We haven't seen any production offensively from either of these clubs yet this year. There's a split-finger pitch swung on and missed, and the count is 1-2. Their bats are in the freezer right now, and they are not coming out of it yet, and they don't show any signs of it. Game number 6 of the year, and they have both struggled offensively. And here comes the pitch from Sasaki. It's a split-finger pitch swung on. It is fouled off, and it came right up into the catcher. And for all the gentlemen that are in here listening tonight, the catcher, Matsukawa, just took that one in the family jewels. He is down on all fours in a lot of pain. The trainer has come out and he's patting him on the back. I don't know if patting on the back is going to be the right thing to do, but boy, oh boy, they may want to stretch out the other catcher. That was a split finger pitch. It was swung on. It came right down. And as it went down, it caught him flush as it went by him. Not too good. Our friend Patty's asking the question, but I got to tell you, you got to read the chat there, Patty. You've been given some information up above. Maybe you need to scroll up and take a look at it because some of the folks gave you their thoughts. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Nomura, and it looks like that the catcher Matsukawa is going to be all right. He's moving a little gingerly, so to speak. Fluby says he got hit with a paintball once. I wonder if it was at 100 miles an hour. And here comes the pitch. It is a split finger pitch that swung on and missed. And Nomura goes down on strikes for the 3rd out of the inning. And that is going to be it here for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters in their half of the 1st inning. There was no runs. There was a hit. There were no errors and 1 runner left the board. We threw a half inning. It is the Fighters, nothing, and the Marines coming to bat. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments. After this, we appreciate you guys for jumping in here with us tonight. It is NPB Baseball, live on the Last Drafts Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be the top of the order. It'll be Takashi Ojino, Atsuki Tomosuji, and Shogo Nakamura to come to bat to face the left-hander Takayuki Kato. Our friend Mick says to throw a strike right after taking it to the stones is clutch. Well, the other thing to that is catching the strike after taking one to the stones is probably even more clutch because it was the catcher who got it. And I would also say that also, too, on the foul tip, I wonder if it picked up some speed there as the first pitch is delivered. It is a breaking ball that just misses down for ball one, and the count is 1-0 to Ojino. Ojino batting .222. He's got no homers and 1 RBI. Getting the nod in right field tonight as he delivers it as a fastball swung on. This ball's lined into left field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Moving over to his right to field the ball was Matsumoto. And that is a leadoff single for Ojino here at the bottom of the first inning. And that's going to bring up the shortstop Atsuki Tomosuji. My friend Alexander says, we can't post the links, but again, Patty, if you go through the stream, there's been some directions given by some of the people that are in here. You'll have to use some Google and you'll have to use some ingenuity, but there is some information that has been provided up in the chat. You just have to take the time to read it. And here comes the offering from the lefty, and already squaring the bunt is Tomosuji. They step off the rubber, and we're going to have to reset this all over again. Interesting this year that the information in Japanese is here. Our friend Mick says, who's pitching in the Eagles game? It is the Masahiro Tanaka got the start. There's a ball. It's bunted down. It is fielded neatly by Usami. He throws to first, and Ojino is going to be advanced to second base. That's a sacrifice, and it's going to go down 2-4 on the putout for out number 1, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Shogo Nakamura. So Nakamura strides to the plate. He is batting .056 on the season with nothing on the slash line. Another one last night, somebody jumped in and he also talked about some of the live stream betting stuff. And you'll see some of those as well. Here comes the offering now from the lefty Kato, who delivers to Nakamura, and it's a fastball swung on this ball in the right center field. This ball is going to get down. It's over the head of the center fielder, and it's off the wall. Rounding second and heading home is Ojino. Nakamura is digging for second, and that is where he is going to stop. And the Marines have jumped out to a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first inning, as Nakamura has himself a 2-bagger here, and Ojino has crossed the plate for a 1-0 Marine lead. That's one way to break out of your 1-for-18 slump if you're Nakamura with a RBI double. That might be it for the scoring in this one. It might just be everything after that really quiet. But Nakamura has driven in a run the conventional way by hitting the ball. Our friend Shotgun Shell says he's bet the over 5.5. Well, that might start looking good if they could keep scoring runs here. Here comes the first offering, and it's a slow breaking ball that just misses for ball 1, and the count is 1-0 to Koki Yamaguchi. Yamaguchi batting, he's hitting .278 on the young campaign. He's got no homers and 2 RBIs. Mr. Cap is back in the house, and we welcome him. Nice to see you again. Jorge says, is it 1-0? Yeah, we fix our ticker at the end of the half innings. As the breaking ball that misses in the count is now 2-0. Once the inning is complete, we'll flip it down to you. So 1-0 it is here for the Marines. As Yamaguchi holds the bat out in front of himself at shoulder height. The lefty Kato checks the runner at second and now delivers a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is now 3-0. There are only 2 players in the lineup hitting .275 or better. Yamaguchi is one. He's hitting .78. The other one is Kyoto Fujiwara entering the game at .438. All the rest of the numbers aren't just below the Mendoza line. They're well below the Mendoza line. Actually, Tomosuji is hitting .250. Ojino 222, but boy, Here's the pitch. It is a fastball that misses. Oh, it catches the outside corner, and Yamaguchi was already on his way down to first base. A late call by the umpire. Chris Neal says, "Good night, guys, and good luck." Well, thanks for stopping in, Chris. Appreciate you for poking your head in to say hello. So 3 balls and 1 strike it is to Yamaguchi. As the lefty Kato ready to go back to work. He checks the runner at second as he works set to the belt. And now he kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. The count is now 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes it is. And just as a reminder, we will be back on the airwaves on Friday night, North American time, and Saturday for games. We're going to skip tomorrow. I'm not going to do anything tomorrow night. The games are 2 a.m. on the Pacific Coast or 5 a.m. Eastern, so we'll sit that one out. But we will be in on Saturday and Sunday for those games. Our friend Mr. Cap asked the question, who's your favorite player to watch? That's a good question, and I've got one that'll come right back to you. Here's the offering. It is a fastball swung on. It is popped up behind second base. Racing out on it is the second baseman, and he's going to call off the right fielder, Manami. He'll be hauled in by Ishii, and that will retire Yamaguchi for out number 2. One player I find very exciting in the NPB to watch right now is Yukio Shudo for the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. For those who don't know Shudo very well, Shudo was the player who scored the game-winning run for the Japanese in that semifinal game. And that is probably the player that I really enjoy. He's got some speed. He plays in the outfield. He can play third base. I really like his game, and he's a young guy. He's only 22 years old or something. There was a first pitch fastball delivered to Gregory Polanco, taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Defensively tight for the Fighters from left to right field. It's Matsumoto in left. The center fielder is Isobata and Manami in right. Around the horn, it's Kiyomiya at first, Ishii at second, Kamikawa Kabata at short, and the third baseman's Nomura with the battery of Kato and Usami. And there's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. So those are probably, that's the player that I like watching most in the NPB. Probably the player in this game that I enjoy watching the most is probably, as there's a fastball swung on and it's grounded over to short. Kamikawa Kabata fields it. He throws to first. That's going to retire Polanco on a ground out 6-3 for the third out of the inning. I'll come back and give you my thoughts on the players I like to watch. There was 1 run in the inning on 2 hits. There was no errors and 1 runner left the board. We're now through 1 complete. Your score is the Chiba Lotte Marines 1 and the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with all the action in just a couple moments after this from our friend, Steve Rademacher.
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining Freddie here on his baseball game. And I'm Steve Rademacher, and my channel is really all about everybody, including all my international friends. We have such stuff as non-sport packs from Canada, the OP Cheese. We have the Greek Freak. We have money from around the world. We have lira. We have yen. We have francs. We have pounds. We have Deutschmarks. We have all kinds of cool stuff like that. We even have some cooler things like Japanese women wrestlers and OP-Chi baseball cards where I cannot read the back. We even have unopened material like the royal family, I know it's backwards, from London, England. Thank you for watching. Back to Freddie.
Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the top of the second inning, and it is going to be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters to come to bat for the Fighters. That means Kiyomiya, Martinez, and Kamikawa Kabata. Mr. Cap asked the question of who do I like to watch in this game or the NPB. So we started off with Yukio Shudo of the Hawks. In this game here, player I like watching for Chiba that I like to keep my eye on a little bit is that Koki Yamaguchi, the first baseman. He's 22 years old, and he's in the cleanup spot. So he is somebody I enjoy watching right now. I want to see how he develops as the fastball is delivered and taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. And of course, Roki Sasaki, the young right-hander on the mound who sits up around 100 miles an hour, as there's a breaking ball that is swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 0-2 to Kiyomiya. So both of those two players in particular are the ones that I would probably say that I like to watch a little bit. I am curious to see about Ariel Martinez, as there's a split finger pitch swung on and missed, and Kiyomiya is retired on strikes for the first out of the inning, 1 up and 1 away. That brings up Ariel Martinez. So Ariel Martinez, for me, is something I'm curious to watch a little bit this year. I haven't seen enough of him. I saw him play for Cuba in the Classic. He had a breakthrough campaign with the Chinichi Dragons a couple of years ago. He was the first non-Japanese catcher in about 20-some-odd years when he was catching for the Dragons. There's a fastball that misses outside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. He was the one who hit that ball to deep right field last night. It was hauled in on the track by Ogino to end the ball game. There's a fastball that just misses upstairs, and the count is now 2-0. So I'm kind of curious to watch him a little bit, not because of what he has done, but just in terms of how he swings the bat, what his approach at the plate is like. Here's the 2-0, and it's a fastball that misses upstairs. They appeal over to the first base umpire, but they say he didn't go, and that runs the count to 3-0. I also liked last year the way that Daigo Kamikawa Kabata was playing for the Fighters. This is his sophomore season, so we'll see how he goes. I like the way he fielded his position and swung the bat a bit. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 3-1 to Martinez. Defensively for the Marines tonight, from left to right field, Oda is in left. The center fielder is Fujiwara, and Ogino is in right. There's a fastball swung on, and it's fouled away on the first base side of home plate. And that keeps the count at 3-2. And then around the horn from first to third, it's Yamaguchi at first. The second baseman is Nakamura. The shortstop is Tomasuji. And at third base, it is Chitani. Here's the offering from the righty Sasaki. It's swung on and missed. And Martinez goes in the books, back-to-back strikeouts here in the second inning. That's 3 in a row. Set down via the K now by Sasaki. That'll bring up the shortstop, Daigo Kamikawa Kabata. Our friend Jorge says, I need another point for the Marines. As there's a fastball that misses inside, and the count is 1-0. He says, do you think I can win this? Well, I hope you can. I think in this situation, Jorge, you've got a problem where you've got two offensively starved teams. I think the Marines jumping out here 1-0 is a good sign for you. I don't know if this will end as a 1-0 ball game, but I don't know if there's going to be a lot of runs scored here as the fastball is swung on and fouled away, and the count goes to 1-1 on Kamikawa Kabata. I am interested in some of the stuff in the Central League. We don't get a chance to see enough of the Central League stuff. I am going to call some games this year. I'll go out of my way to do it. Those will be more on the weekends. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 1-2. I'll have to set it up, but I probably would lean toward maybe doing a Saturday night game where we do a early game in the Pacific League and a late night one in the Central League. As the right-hander works to the set position. And here comes the offering from the righty Sasaki. It's a fastball swung on and grounded foul over on the third base side. Our friend AC jumps in. He says, I'm just joining now, but who are the best hitters in the fighter lineup? Well, that's a bit of a problem. But right now, starting the year, Nomura and Kiyomiya, who were up earlier, are probably some of their better guys. But I would have to say Go Matsumoto is probably their best. He was the batting champion last year in the Pacific League. As it's a fastball swung on and grounded softly to second, fielded by Nakamura. He throws to first, and Kamikawa Kabata is gone for out number 3. And that will do it here for the Fighters in the top of the second inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard. We are now through 1.5. It is the Marines 1, the Fighters no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments after this from our friend Matt Hollis.
Well, you got to have an ace in the hole. a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play. But you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the bottom of the second inning, and it'll be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters to come to bat for Chiba. That means Kenta Chitani, Hiromi Oda, and Ko Matsakawa, as they will be facing the lefty here, Takayuki Kato, as he is going to be coming on for inning number 2. Only 13 pitches thrown in that first inning, but he did allow a run, as it was the double and the RBI by Nakamura that has got the Marines on the board. And the first pitch is a breaking ball that catches the outside corner for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. Chitani batting 143 on the year as the lefty kicks and delivers. It is swung on. It is lifted foul over on the first base side. Giving chase is Isami, but he's going to watch it drift into the Marines dugout. Runs the count to 0-2. Joseph Andrioni in the house here. He says the pitcher for Chiba is the one that's considered the best in the league. Well, I don't know if I would consider him the best in the league right now. I would say he's the best prospect in the league for Major League Baseball standards. But as far as the best pitcher is concerned, I think there's a few other guys out there that might have something to say about that, starting with Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who's going for the Oryx Buffaloes tonight. As that fastball missed outside, and the count is 1-2. Again, the lefty kicks and delivers, and that ball is down in the dirt, and the count goes to 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Chitani. But as far as upside potential is concerned, Roki Sasaki has it all. The power arm, he is pretty electric. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It is grounded up the middle. It is fielded by the second baseman, Ishii. He throws to first. That's going to retire Chitani on a ground out 4-3 for out number 1. And that'll bring up the left fielder Oda. A friend AC asked the question, says, when is Yamamoto eligible for posting? Well, there was word that he may be posted in the next couple of years. My biggest problem with some of the pitchers, maybe not Sasaki, as he's a little bit taller, is small pitchers are generally, as there's a breaking ball that hits Oda right in the foot, and he is going to get to first base. That was the first pitch seen from Oda, or from Kato, and Oda wears it off the foot, and he is going to run down to first base. That's going to bring up the catcher, Ko Matsakawa. So Yamamoto, he's a small righty, and when I tell people what small righties are, by major league standards, those guys are kind of considered 6'2" and under. And small righties typically run into issues with their shoulders. Yeah, you have your exception, Pedro Martinez, who can go on for a while, and they're the odd guy who can hang in there. But for much of the case, small righties, generally the shoulder is the problem for some of those guys. As here's the offering from the lefty Kato. It's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-0. So I like Yamamoto. However, I have to say I'd be curious to see how he would perform at the major league level in a couple of years' time. Who would he remind me of? Well, he might remind me of a Daisuke Matsuzaka, come in for a couple of years, have a really good run, and then may find himself into a little bit of trouble. But certainly he could be effective. I don't know where he would fit in. I look at a guy like Kodai Senga being the third man in the rotation in New York right now. Kodai Senga would probably thrive in that spot, and Yamamoto would be good to go to a team that's got two arms like a Scherzer and a Verlander and be the third guy. As there's a fastball swung on it, is chopped back to the pitcher. They throw to first, they get him, and trying to go first to third is Oda, and he gets gunned down. That's some pretty shoddy base running by the Marines outfielder, and that is going to be a double play. So how does the double play go in the books? It goes as a 1-3-5 double play. That's not one you see every day. Oda tries to go from all the way over to third. He's not able to get there as he becomes the third out of the inning. And a cardinal sin is the third out at third in an inning. That's what's happened there. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard. We are now moving to the top of the third inning. Your score is the Chiba Lotte Marines 1, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few after this.
This is Steve Rademacher, and I'd like to introduce you to my channel if you haven't seen it before. These are all the things I enjoy: sports, autographs, relics, non-sports Hall of Famers, pseudo-sports, Star Wars. That's my channel name and my name, and I would really appreciate it if you would come check me out and maybe even subscribe if you like it. Thank you for that for now, and back to your ball game.
Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the top of the third inning, and it is a 1-0 ball game here for the Marines. Looking at the out-of-town scoreboard, the Saitama Sipu Lions are holding on to a 1-0 lead against the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. That game is in the top of the sixth inning at the Rakuten Mobile Park in Tohoku. It's going to be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters to come to bat here. It'll be Shingo Usami, Kazunori Ishii, at the top of the order, Ryota Isobata, and the first pitch is a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is 0-1. Usami on the season has got a 0 batting average and nothing on the slash line as he bats here against the hard-throwing right-hander Sasaki. And the pitch is on the way. It is a fastball that misses upstairs for a ball, and the count is 1-1. For those of you who were in on our game last night, I haven't posted it yet. It'll probably come up here in the next 24 hours. I got two things. I did get the video. And I've got the video of the shenanigans that went on last night on that wild pitch that scored 2 runs as the fastball misses inside and the count is 2-1. And we're going to put that up on a short. So if you get a chance to pop in, you can see it. We got multiple angles. As here comes the 2-1 offering. It is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 2-2. And the other one that we saw last night was when Kakanaka was batting against the starter for the Fighters. He threw an ephus pitch to start Kakanaka off, and then he followed him up with a 90-plus mile-an-hour heater. There's a fastball swung on it, is grounded softly to third. Chitani fields it, he fires to first. That is going to be a ground out, 5-3. I'm just going to play around with it. I'm going to do my sort of Japanese John Boy breakdown of that 2-run wild pitch last night. So Kazunori Ishii steps to the plate with 1 gone. Ishii is batting .059 on the year. No homers and 1 RBI. He was hitting in the 2 spot last night. And he was hitting in the 2 spot early in the season, but he has dropped all the way down to the bottom of the order. And the first pitch is on the way. It's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. The count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Our friend Mr. Cap says he shout out to John Boy. There's a fastball swung on it, is tapped slowly over to first. Yamaguchi picks it up, and he is going to step on the bag, and that's going to retire Ishii for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 quick outs here. It's going to leave it all up to Ryota Isibata. Our friend Josh S. says Johnny Cueto is a pretty small guy, too. There are exceptions to the rule, no doubt about it. Marcus Stroman, I don't know what they list Marcus Stroman at. Probably in stilettos, he's maybe only 5'8". But, well, I'll have to see how that fares out. But Stroman is definitely a small guy, and he's got some electric stuff. There's a breaking ball that misses inside. The count is 1-0. Our friend Shotgun Shell says he's never seen a game end that way or scored that way, as there's a fastball swung on and fouled away. Count is 1-1. I think there's only one John Boy Media, of course. They do a really good job of breaking it down. And of course, his sense of humor is next level. I have a similar sense of humor, but I can't quite do it like he does. There's only one John Boy. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 1-2. I think I might get myself into a little bit more trouble because they say sarcasm is the lowest form of wit, and sometimes I can have that sarcasm or the dry wit. As there's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. It's fielded by catcher there, Matt Sakawa, and he throws to first, and that is going to do it here. As it is going to retire Isabata on a strikeout, but 2-3 in the books on the retirement. Really quick inning here. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are now moving to the bottom of the third inning. Your score is the Marines 1 and the Fighters no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back in just a couple moments. We appreciate you guys for being here with us tonight. To take this all in, here is our friend Matt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Appreciate you, Matt Hollis. We'll be back in 30 after this. Welcome back, everybody. We're back underway as Kyoto Fujiwara is at the plate, and he takes a first pitch breaking ball for a call and strike, and the count is 0-1. Fujiwara, Ojino, and Tomo Tsuji to come to bat here in the third inning. There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count is now 0-2. Fujiwara, one of the players here, he was actually the base runner that scored that second run all the way from second. It was a pretty headsy play. By the way, last night in that game, the pitcher really didn't cover the plate. He was off of the plate when that ball was thrown back, and there's a breaking ball swung on and missed. And Fujiwara goes down on strikes for the first out of the inning. When I was watching the replay today, because originally the camera work was not the best, they had panned over to the manager after the first run was scored. And so we were kind of left a little bit hanging. And the next thing you know is he's cheering, and they pan back, and the second run scored. But the pitcher was not right at the plate. It was like he overrun the plate, had tried to catch the ball and reach back and never caught the ball as it trickled away. So there's a fastball delivered to Ojino for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So kind of a crazy piece. So you'll get the breakdown on a couple of different angles. And there is a fastball that missed down, and the count is now 1-1 strike to Ojino. And the pitcher just kind of looks like, what happened? He was shell-shocked. And, of course, the very next pitch to the hitter, Nakamura, last night ends up being hit for an out, and that ended that inning. As there's a breaking ball that misses to Ojino, and the count is 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Yeah, here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on and lifted down the right field line, and the count goes to 2-2. Our friend Mick asked the question, what's my liquor of choice? Well, to be honest with you, Mick, I haven't cut out drinking, but I've pretty much I don't really drink so much anymore, more for health reasons than anything else. So I have the occasional beer. In the wintertime, it's usually a Guinness. And in the summertime, it's sometimes a Strongbow cider. As here comes the 2-2 offering as it is on its way. And it's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into center field, drifting back and making the catch is the center fielder Isobata. That's going to retire Ogino for the second out of the inning. So 2 away, and that's going to leave it all up to Atsuki Tomosuji. So that answers kind of mixed questions. So yeah, not a whole lot, and try a little bit here and there, but nothing really too much these days. As far as Mr. Cap's thoughts, he says, what are the thoughts on the Lions bullpen? Well, the Lions bullpen, I don't think it's a whole lot better than last year. I didn't think much of them at all. There's a fastball that misses down to Tomosuji, and the count's 1-0. Ball and no strikes as the lefty goes back to work. He kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on, grounded softly to short, fielded by Kamikawa Kabata, throws to first, and that is going to do it. It's a ground out 6-3. Pretty economical inning. Only 31 pitches in 3 innings for Kato. He is all around the zone, and that is going to do it here in the third. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are now moving to the top of the 4th inning. Your score, Marines nothing and the Fighters nothing. We'll be back in just a couple moments with all your action right after this. Appreciate you guys. Here's some more of those cheerleaders. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the batting order. That means Chusei Manami, Go Matsumoto, and Yuki Nomura. You face the right-hander Hiroki Sasaki. We got Preston in the house tonight. He's telling us he's got Chiba 1.5. As the first offering is on the way, and it's a fastball that misses up for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. John says the question, any of these guys been in farm leagues in Japan or farm leagues in the United States? As there is a fastball that catches the inside corner and the count goes to 1-1. I don't think anybody for the Fighters in tonight's lineup has spent any time in the United States. But as far as the Marines are concerned, of course, Gregory Polanco, the one-time outfielder with the Pittsburgh Pirates, there's a fastball swung on and missed. The count is now 1-2. So Polanco is the only one in the Chiba lineup. And as we said before, Hiroki Sasaki is on a path destined to Major League Baseball. There's no doubt about that. And the 1-2 pitch on the way, it's a split finger pitch swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 1-2. The only hit of the ball game for the Fighters belongs to Manami, as he had a single back in the first inning. His first hit of the year. He is 1 for 6 on the season now. As he is waiting here on the offering from Sasaki, it's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. And he is going to be retired here for out number 1. So 1 in the books for Sasaki, and that's going to bring up the left fielder, Go Matsumoto. So that, in my books, is 5 strikeouts now for the righty Sasaki. Matsumoto steps into the plate here. He is 0 for 1 tonight. He bounced into a fielder's choice his first time up. Preston asked the question. He says, what's Polanco getting paid out there? That's a good question. As a fastball misses outside, I usually do a decent job of keeping up on some of the contracts, especially when the players go over, but I didn't see what he got because he moved over from the Yomiuri Giants. There's a fastball that's taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. So he was already over there for a year, and then he had moved over to Chiba this year. I know, as an example, Trevor Bauer got $4 million from the Bay Stars. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-2. Trevor Bauer, $4 million for 1 year. I think it was last year. Freddie Galvis got 2 years, $6 million from the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. To put some things in perspective. So there are some guys who can make some money. There's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is now 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Matsumoto. Generally speaking, if a guy's got no pedigree, if he's a AAA guy, usually they pay those guys about $750,000 to start. And then they can work their way up. Players with major league experience and some name recognition come at a little more of a premium. There's a split finger pitch swung on. It is tapped slowly over to third. Charging is Chitani. He fields and throws to first. Matsumoto is retired on a ground out 5-3 for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away, and that is going to bring up the third baseman, Yuki Nomura. Friend John says there's a lot of MLB prospects and former players in this league. Yep, that would be correct. And then there are some players that are, in my opinion, could play in Major League Baseball, but choose to stay in Japan because they get compensated pretty good. As the first pitch is a split finger pitch, it misses outside, and the count is 1-0. And I'll give you the example of that. Hayato Sakamoto, the shortstop for the Yomiuri Giants, is a legitimate Major League talent, or was. He's getting a little old now as he's 31 or 32 years old. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Nomura. But he plays for the Yomiuri Giants in Tokyo. He gets paid, in the multi-million dollars. He's, I think, north of $10 million a year. And when you think about it, you play in a league where 5 of the 12 teams are situated in the Tokyo area. You could be sleeping in your own bed every night. The travel is not like it is in North America, and you can make a pretty good wage, so why not stay there? There's a split finger pitch swung on a miss. The count is 1-2. You sometimes think about people that they living in North America, as most of our listeners are. We know how our lifestyle is. We know how the structure is here, but a Japanese person coming across may not necessarily want to be able to enjoy that. And there's a split finger pitch that's down. They appeal over to first base, and up goes the right hand of the first base umpire. They said Nomura went around, and he has gone for out number 3. And that is going to do it here in the 4th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're moving to the bottom of the 4th inning. Your score is Chiba Lotte Marines 1 and the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters no score. We'll be right back in just a couple moments, everybody. After this, we appreciate you guys for listening in. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in the batting order. Nakamura, Yamaguchi, and Polanco to come to bat here. And that is going to be who they're going to be facing is Kato here, as Kato has really been effective. 31 pitches in 3 innings of work. He's hardly broke a sweat. Our friend Preston says that most of the players here in Oklahoma City for the AAA Dodgers aren't getting paid that much. So we take him up on that offer. There's a fastball that misses outside for ball one. So I used to referee basketball with Rowan Wick's father. Rowan has spent the last couple of years at the big league level with the Cubs. He was optioned to AAA this year. As the pitch is on the way, it's a fastball swung on it, is grounded through the 6-hole into left field. And Nakamura is aboard. He's got his second hit of the ball game. He entered the ball game with one hit at 18 at-bats, and he's got 2-2 at-bats here tonight. So he's got himself a leadoff single here in the fourth, and that's going to bring Koki Yamaguchi to the plate. When I saw Rowan's dad, I haven't seen him in a bit. He's a retired firefighter here in the area. He was saying that Rowan had to make a decision a couple of years ago whether he was going to head over either to the KBO or the NPB, as there was an offer on the table for him where he could make that $750,000, or if he was going to try to battle it out and win a big league job. And he spent the last couple of years at the major league level with the Cubs. I think he signed a contract that was about, I don't know, 1.5 or 1.75. But the Cubs had spent some money in the offseason, and he found himself out of a job as the fastball misses down for ball. But there was a point where he needed to find out if he was going to get paid or not. And of course, the league minimum is $750,000 these days in Major League Baseball. So here is the offering as the lefty kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses down, and the count is now 2-0. Because you figure a couple of seasons making that kind of money, you can set yourself up for the rest of your life. Certainly in some areas that money takes you a lot further than in others. But if you make yourself, a couple of years, even if you make the league minimum, it's not a bad shot in the arm. Something else I learned recently, and there's a fastball that was taken at the knees for a called strike, and the count is 2-1. We had, for those of you who are new to our channel, we had former Oakland A outfielder up here doing some stuff with us, and that was Eric Fox. And he was saying with the CBA that if you come up and play one day in the major leagues, or if your name appears on the 40-man roster for one day, when you get sent back down, then they have to pay you a third of the league minimum. So in other words, if you're playing in AAA and you get called up for one day, you're on the 40-man for one day, and they send you back down to the minors, then they have to pay you a prorated fee of 1/3 of the league minimum. So some of those guys who maybe only had 10 or 15 at-bats, if they're languishing in AAA, they could be making $250,000 now. That's a pretty good deal, as there's a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is now 2-2 to Yamaguchi. So when you get that kind of money, now it starts to become a little bit more favorable. I didn't see the article today, but I think it was on ESPN and as well on the Major League Baseball, and they were talking about the new minor league collective agreement and how they were saying how it was a big thing for minor league baseball, and they're going to try to pay the players a little bit better and so on and so forth. Some of those players, outside of their signing bonuses at the onset, they're not compensated very well, as there's a fastball that misses down, and the count is now 3-2 to Yamaguchi. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Our friend Shotgun Shell says he smells runs. Well, we'll find out here. I could smell a double play if he gets the right pitch. The fella Preston here said most of the guys on the Dodgers World Series team played in Oklahoma City. Well, there was a guy who played with the Buffaloes a couple of years ago, and he played in Oklahoma City. I want to say his last name was Rangel, or he was really cleaning up. It was a couple of years ago. He went over, he was with the Dodgers, and he left at the All-Star break to join the Buffaloes. And I forget his name. I have to look it back up. There's a fastball swung on it. Is grounded past the diving shortstop, Kamikawa Kabata, and the left field. So back-to-back singles here for the Marines. And they've got something going. Maybe Shotgun Shell is onto something. Maybe he is smelling the runs. But he went over, and he didn't quite have the same positive effect. But you're playing in the Dodgers system, and if you're a player there, you're blocked at so many levels. You're basically auditioning for a job in other organizations, as they are very, very good. If you were drafted by the Dodgers, you got to think about being a top-notch guy. Our friend Steven Mans has popped in here tonight, and he's got the Marines at 1.5 by the looks of it. That brings Gregory Polanco to the plate. Polanco batting .071 on the season. He's got 1 hit and 14 trips to the plate. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to Gregory Polanco. Polanco tonight 0 for 1 as he grounded to short his first time up. We do appreciate all the folks that have popped into the stream tonight. We thank you guys for your support. Hopefully you guys can come on back again, as there is a fastball that misses outside, and the count is now 1-1 to Polanco. So 1 ball and 1 strike it is. We are still with you guys, but we lost our main feed here a minute ago, so we're going to have to try to pick that back up. We do have our B feed going, so I'll miss you guys a little bit in the chat. 1 ball and 1 strike, and the pitch is a fastball swung on and lifted foul. It's going to reach the seats. It's going to run the count to 1-2 on Polanco. Try to keep this here as we go. Looks like we got our main feed back, so as we do that, we'll bounce back in and we can pick back up on the stream here. There's the pitch. It is a fastball that just misses low. The count is 2-2. Our friend Shotgun Shaw says he's here for the knowledge and the comedy. Sometimes we're better than others. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. But I think everybody should be excited when I'm in Japan in August and September. You guys will get a chance to get some of the flavor of stuff. There's the 2-2 on the way. It's a fastball swung on it. It's grounded over to the left side. Kamikawa Kabata over to second for 1. Back to first, and it's not going to be in time. It's going to be a fielder's choice. It's going to retire Yamaguchi 6-4 at second base. So he's going to be the first out. Nakamura is going to advance over to third. Polanco is safe at first. And that is going to bring up Kenta Chitani to the plate. So the Marines are threatening here. So Chitani stepping to the plate. He is 0 for 1 tonight. He's grounded to second, his first and only time up. I'm curious to see what they would do here. If it was me, I would not even bat an eye trying to bunt in this situation. And they're concerned here. They're going to come out and give the first and third defense as Usami is up flashing his signs. I don't think Polanco is a threat to run. Not like he was in his younger days when he could move around the bases a little bit. But you never know. But I'd be keeping my eye on Chitani if he's going to bunt in this spot. And they throw over to first base, and nothing is happening. Well, he threw the ball into the right field corner, and that's going to get a run in as Nakamura comes around to score. Now, the runner Polanco goes all the way around to third. Unbelievable. That ball there, it was just a casual flip over, and the next thing you know, he threw it into the right field corner. It looked like the Detroit Tigers in the 2006 World Series throwing balls into the bullpen. And that is going to be an error on the pitcher. Nakamura comes in with the second run of the ball game. Polanco goes all the way around. The error by the pitcher. Oh, and it wasn't even close. He threw the ball. It had to be a good couple of feet over the first baseman's head. Oh, boy. Talk about comedy. We're watching it right here. Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters have shown up for real now. This is why they were the doormats last year in the league. And you have to wonder, the big boss Shinjo, who is running the ship there, we got to wonder at some point in time when he's going to start to lose his mind. Here's the first offering now to Chitani. As the lefty holds set and he kicks and delivers, it's a fastball swung on and is lifted foul down the right field line. It's going to reach the seats. So they got 1 away here and a runner at third, and the Fighters have the defense in. You have to think if the Fighters can give up another run here, it's going to be a problem because, as we said before, they are an offensively starved team. You can't swing the bat very well. Preston wants to know who my sleeper team in the MLB is. He says his is Pittsburgh. As the pitch is on the way, and it's a fastball that just misses down, and the count is 1-1. You know, they went into Boston and took care of the Red Sox, did the Pirates. I still think that they are a year away from doing some serious damage. I didn't look to see if Quinn Priester made the team out of spring training. He was one of their number 1 picks a couple of years ago. As here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on and missed. That runs the count now to 1-2 on Chitani. But I would have to say a sleeper team in the big leagues. I'd have to think about it for a moment, Preston. I'll cycle back to you on that. So 1 ball and 2 strikes as the lefty Cato kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Chitani. There are some teams to sleep on for sure in the MLB. I would probably say the Arizona Diamondbacks are another team that they're in a tough division when you've got the Dodgers and the Giants, but I have to say they're doing the right things there in Arizona. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 2-2. Our friend Fluby says, remember when I called these guys clowns and ready to throw a wild pitch to ruin the under? Yeah, there it is. Well, you might get another one right here, and there's going to be your ruining of the under. Here's the offering. It is a fastball that is swung on and missed, and that is going to do it. Chitani went fishing, and he's going to be gone for the second out of the inning. No, that was in the left-handed batter's box. He went wow, did he ever go after that? Well, that was ugly. And in fact, he took the swing and he lost his bat and he just walked off the field in disgust. So he has gone for out number 2, and that's going to bring up Hiromi Oda to the plate. Our friend John says he thinks the Brewers so far. I don't know if the Brewers are a sleeper team. There's a fastball that swung on and fouled away. The count is 0-1. I say that because I really like their core. Their core has been intact, and of course, they're starting pitchers. And I don't know what's going on there in Milwaukee. Obviously, they have a couple of young outfielders that, in Mitchell and Frelick, and I forget the other one. There's a third guy there that could be pretty good on the cusp of being regulars in the big leagues. Their pitching has been pretty good, although I saw Aaron Ashby's going to have some shoulder surgery as a breaking ball misses, and the count is 1-1. But with Burns and Hauser and some of the others in the mix, Wade Miley threw a gem yesterday, a shutout of the Mets. As here comes the 1-1 pitch, and it is a fastball swung on. It is grounded, fielded by the third baseman, moving to his left. A nice play there by Nomura. He throws to first, and that is going to do it. It's going to be a ground out 5-3 for the third out of the inning. The Marines, they get a run in the inning. They got 1 run on the benefit of 2 hits. There was an error, and there was 1 runner left aboard. Your score, as we are through 4 innings, it is now 2-0. We'll be back in just a few minutes after this. Appreciate you guys for being here and listening in.
Well, you got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just 1 roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole. Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. We are moving here to the top of the 5th inning, and coming to bat for the Fighters, it'll be Kiyomiya Martinez and Kamikawa Kabata. For Kiyomiya, tonight he is 0 for 1. He struck out his first time up. Our friend Stephen Mann says the Fishies are super sleeper. Alcantara, Luzardo, 1-2 punch. Yeah, you got to like the fish down there and their moves that they made in the offseason. There's a fastball that swung on and missed. The count is quickly 0-1 to Kiyomiya. They did make the playoffs a couple of years ago, so it's not out of the question. But I like the moves that they made in the offseason. They do seem like they want to compete again as a fastball is swung through and missed, and the count now is 0-2 to Kiyomiya. I like the trade that they made. They have a wealth of pitching. They gave up Pablo Lopez. They sent him to the Twins, and in turn, they got Luis Arraez as the American League batting champ. As there was a split finger pitch swung on and missed, and Kiyomiya is down on strikes for the first out of the inning. One up and one away, and that'll bring up Ariel Martinez. In my books, that is the 7th strikeout on the ball game for Sasaki. He is ratcheting him up now. And it'll be Martinez striding to the plate here with one gone in the 5th. And the first pitch on the way is a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. I think Martinez wanted that pitch back based on his body language. It was a pitch on the middle away, high fastball. Here's the 0-1 offering, and there is a breaking ball that is waved at and missed, and the count now goes to 0-2. Our friend John says the Braves are the team to beat, though. I have to say, I really like the Braves in that division. There's no doubt about it. The Phillies right now a little bit banged up, as there is a split finger pitch that misses down. They appeal over to the first base umpire, and up goes the right hand, and down goes Ariel Martinez for the second out of the inning. So now 3 strikeouts in a row by the right-hander Sasaki, 2 in this inning, and that's going to leave it all up to Daigo Kamikawa-Kabata. Our friend Preston says, how do you feel about the D-backs playing the Dodgers 8 of their first 10 games? To be honest with you, I don't like it. As here comes the offering from Sasaki. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. I know that they are playing now a balanced schedule. The positives of a balanced schedule, and I was talking to a couple of guys, and they were saying that when you're playing teams 20 plus times in a season back in the day, 20, 24 times, there used to be some tensions that would be built up as the fastball comes inside and the count is 1-1. So you may not get the tensions. You may not get the stuff that is felt that way. One of the things that Eric Fox talked about when he was here was he was saying about how Tony La Russa used to keep a book on guys who used to get hit by pitches. As there's a fastball taken for a call and strike, the count is 1-2. He said, so for example, if Mark McGwire got plugged on the last game of a series and the other team was wanting to send a message, he used to keep this little book and he would make notes. And then, of course, when they would face the team again, they would come back and go after the other team's better player. And there's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. And that is going to do it as Sasaki has struck out the side here in the 5th inning. There is no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're moving to the bottom of the 5th inning. It is a 2-0 lead for the Marines. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be back and finish those thoughts that I was giving you in just a moment right after this. We appreciate you guys, as we say, for listening in with us tonight. Nothing, everybody, and we are moving here to the bottom of the 5th inning. We'll be back in just a few with all the action right after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters in the batting order for the Marines here in the 5th inning. That means it's going to be Matsukawa, Fujiwara, and the top of the order, Ojino, to come to bat. as they are going to be facing the lefty Kato, who gifted the Marines a run there in the fourth inning as he threw the ball down the right field line and was able to bring home Nakamura. But ironically, they couldn't cash in another run. But that extended the scoreline to 2-0. And the first pitch is a slow breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Matsukawa. 53 pitches through 4 innings for the Fighters lefty as he kicks and delivers. And there's a fastball that misses down for a ball, and the count goes even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. As we take a quick glance at that out-of-town scoreboard, all the other games are later starts, although the game between the Eagles and the Lions is underway. There's a fastball swung on it, is looped softly over towards the second baseman, and Ishii is going to make the catch as he drifts into the outfield. And Matsukawa is gone for out number 1 here, and that's going to bring up the center fielder, Kota Fujiwara. They're in the bottom of the 7th inning in Tohoku. It's a 1-0 ball game. Runs in that series also at a premium, as both of those teams there, as my preseason prediction has them finishing 3rd and 4th. There's a slow breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. 93 kilometers an hour, that last one. So what's that, about 55 miles an hour? 54. So no balls and 1 strike to Fujiwara. And there's a fastball that just misses low and away, and the count goes even to 1-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. As the lefty kicks and fires, it is a breaking ball that is swung on and missed. The count now is 1-2 to Fujiwara. That ball game there, the Tohoku Racketed Golden Eagles have been limited to 3 hits. As the pitcher is Matsumoto, he's out of the game now, and now they get into the bullpen for the Lions. That's where it gets entertaining. As there is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count now goes to 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Lions have pounded out 8 hits against Masahiro Tanaka tonight. But it is the bottom of the 7th inning, and they do have 1 on and 2 out. As there is a fastball swung on and fouled away. Keeps the count at 2-2. For those of you who like slow motion videos, hitting videos, we've been putting them up as shorts. Major League Baseball games and some of that other stuff as well. Preston says a home run is coming or incoming. As the pitch is a breaking ball that misses down and in, the count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes. Not in this Marines game. I don't believe that yet. And I say that because the wind has been blowing in from straightaway center field. It's going to be very difficult right now to knock one out unless, of course, the wind changes. It's right going into the face of the hitters. But maybe in that Tohoku game, you never know. So 3 balls and 2 strikes as the lefty kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses down and away. And that's going to be a base on balls as Fujiwara is going to be aboard. And that'll bring up the top of the order in Ogino. Well, Ogino comes to the plate. He is officially 1 for 2 tonight. He singled and scored a run in the first, and he flew out to center his last time up. As he bats here against the lefty Kato with 1 gone in the 5th inning. And as we get to our proverbial Japanese halftime, as we like to call it, at the end of this half inning, we will take a extended timeout, put the music on loop, and we'll come back to you in a little bit after that. There's a first pitch fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Gives me a moment to get up and get myself another hot chocolate. But enjoying those, usually it's the iced tea. Guys, when the weather starts to get warm, I don't get a plug for this, but I really like the Peace Tea. If you've ever had that, it's kind of a competitor to the Arizona product. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-1. Put it out in a similar type of can. I really like that. So if anybody knows about the Peace Tea, maybe they can get us a sponsorship or something like that. I do like their product. Just 1 ball and 1 strike as the lefty holds set. Now he kicks and delivers. There is a fastball swung on. This ball is hit into deep left field. Moving back onto the warning track, and this ball is going to be off the wall. And digging around second and heading to third and stopping at third is going to be Fujiwara. So a double for Ogino. He's got his second hit of the evening. That ball was rattled off the wall and just not far enough. I wonder if the wind wasn't blowing like it was. But I have a feeling that that is going to be it for Ogino. He's looking to the bench for a substitution. I think he has pulled a hamstring running around the base. That's tough. He's been one of their better hitters over the last couple of nights, and he is walking off the field gingerly. I don't know if it's a full substitution or if not, because sometimes when they have the trainer come out, they do take him down to the tunnel and they take a look at him. So we'll have to see what that's all about. We'll get the replay and see if we can see it here. He gets out of the box. I have to say his bat flip is really good. I should do a compilation of bat flips. But when he rounded first base, yeah, he's grabbing for the back of his leg. The looks like the right hamstring. As he was rounding over to second, he could just see that he started to grimace. He was able to make it in, but I think they're going to go and have a look at him, and I would not be surprised if we see a pinch runner for him in a moment. Ogino needs his legs. That's one of his better assets. So we'll see what they do here in just a moment. Our friend Shotgun Shell says we need to figure out how to get them cheerleaders on a loop. Oh, maybe he's cheering for that on the in-between. Well, maybe we could do that. One of the things is when I'm in Japan there just for you, Shotgun Shell, or our friend Bill here who listens in, what I want to do is I want to get some good footage of the cheerleaders so we can run them in between the commercials. So when I'm sitting in the front row on the first base line, we've got the entertainment in front of us. So I want to make sure I get some good video. We can put that together for you, and we can run that for our entertainment purposes. And it looks like the manager is going out, and I think we're going to have ourselves a change. That's exactly what it is. We'll get that for you in just a moment, as the Chiba Lotte Marines are going to have to go to their bench to get a pinch runner here, as it's going to be it for Ogino. Looks like it is number 3 coming into the ball game, and that is, as we go and take a look at that, is that Kakanaka? I think that's who that is. We'll verify that for you in a second. Yeah, it is Kakanaka in the ball game. That is Alexander Leggett's favorite player, Katsuya Kakanaka, in the pinch run. He was in last night's ball game as the designated hitter. So you can expect Ogino to be out for a couple of weeks, one would expect. Too bad for him. Well, that's going to bring up the shortstop at Suki Tomosuji as he bats here with runners at second and third and one gone. Pitches a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. The base runner, Kakanaka, stretching himself out there at second base. And here comes the offering. It is a fastball swung on and lifted foul down the right field line, and the count is 1-1. The way that game went last night, it just really put a taste in my mouth that I saying to myself, I should never pick the Fighters to win again this year. I know they are going to win some games, but boy, oh boy, it is frustrating to watch some of the stuff that they do. They are a young team, in fairness to them. They are in over their heads right now in this Pacific League. As here's the 2 pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on and missed. They throw down to third, and they're going to nail the runner at third base as Fujiwara has been picked off. He's going to be picked off or caught stealing, however you want to call it. That's going to go down 2-5 on the putout. Oh, boy, picked them off 2-5. And the strikeout here to end the inning. And they threaten. They have runners at second and third with one out, and they can't cash a run in, and that is going to do it here. So no runs in the inning on one hit. There were no errors, and there was only one runner left aboard. They're now through 5 complete innings. Your score is 2-0 for the Marines. I'm going to go get that hot chocolate. Unreal. We'll be right back after this, everybody. Hang tight. We appreciate you all listening in. This is for our friend Shotgun Shell. We will put this on the loop for him and for all the rest of you guys as well. Japanese cheerleaders, why not? Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the top of the 6th inning here in just a couple moments. As we say, after the 5th inning, they do an extended break in the Pacific League. We get ourselves a little longer break. And so, in saying that, we're catching up on a few things. Our friend Fluby says that it looked up the cards on eBay and Amazon. He says, I think the full set goes for about $50. Shipping might make it over 100. Maybe we could work out a deal on that when I'm over in Japan. We can pick up some of that stuff. I got a lot of things I want to get. I was actually thinking about maybe doing a giveaway or like a jersey giveaway or something like that on the channel, because it's kind of cool. I mean, I don't have any Major League Baseball jerseys. When I go to the game, I wear a hat, and that's pretty much about it. I don't really deck myself out in all the glory. Some folks like to do, but I think if I had a Japanese jersey, I would probably consider wearing it to some of the MLB games I'll be in attendance at, because it's always a good talking point. As we're ready to resume the action here, as the right-hander Sasaki ready to go again, and he delivers a first pitch fastball to Shingo Osami for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Osami here today is 0 for 1. He grounded to third his first time up. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, it is a split finger pitch that drops in for a called strike. And the count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. 71 pitches through the first 5 innings for the Chiba right-hander. As he works to the set position and now kicks and delivers, there's a fastball swung on. It is knifed foul down the left field line. It's going to be into the corner, but it's going to keep the count at 0-2. I got our friend CV Baseball Card Collector in the house here. We welcome you in here. We appreciate you for being here and checking in. Yeah, I think if you bought a Hiroshima Carp hat, I think we could probably blend right in with the Cincinnati Reds hat. There's a split finger pitch that is swung on and missed, and that's going to retire Usami for the first out of the inning. 1 up and 1 away, and that's going to bring up the 9-hole hitter in Kazunori Ishii. So as I said, it would be kind of neat, when you walk around. I know when I was at a Mariner game, it was last year, and I was chatting with a couple of guys, and there was a guy who had a jersey on from the KBO. My only problem with it is to get something in my size. Ben Hockling jumps in here, and he says under. And you're probably right there, Ben, as there's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Ishii. Ishii batting .056 on this young season with no homers and an RBI. He is struggling at the plate. As Fluby says, yeah, with these two teams, absolutely, the under is in full play. And here's the pitch. It is a split figure pitch, and it is tapped slowly over to first. Yamaguchi fields it. He flips it to Sasaki as he's going by him. So it was kind of funny. It looked like a relay play as Yamaguchi was charging in. He gets it, and he passes it right over to the covering pitcher. That's going to go down as a ground out, 3-1. For out number 2, our friend John Sondheim says the Cardinals have a pitching problem. Yeah, they do. It's going to be interesting to see if they can make a move, maybe to bring something in with obviously Wainwright on the DL. Michaelis has been stinking it up in his first 2 starts. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is quickly 0-1 to the leadoff hitter, Isobata. Tyler comes in here and he says, who else loves Roki Sasaki? Well, there's a lot of people that like Roki. There's the 0-1 pitch, and there is a split finger pitch that this is down and in, and the count is 1-1. We welcome Tyler to the stream. For some of the folks that have just joined us, make sure you guys are hitting the subscribe button so you can join us. John doesn't like the Montgomery pickup. I actually like the Montgomery pickup, but from this perspective, they had a logjam in the outfield, and Harrison Bader, Carlson, O'Neill, Walker. You got all kinds of guys that are in your outfield, and there's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. Isobata goes down on strikes, the second of the inning, and that is going to be, in my books, that looks like 11 in the books now for Roki Sasaki, as that is going to retire Isobata for the third out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. I'll come back and give you my thoughts on some of that other stuff Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back after this. Appreciate you all for listening in, as it is going to be the bottom of the sixth coming up in just a moment. Well, our friend Alexander Leggett is going to get a kick out of this one, and it's the first time I've seen it. So for those of you who are familiar, they have the Flash down in Atlanta, and or whatever they call the guy who does the sprint, and he races and he goes up against somebody else, and then they win the race. Well, they're doing something like that in Chiba. Last year, they had this strange mascot that would come out of an egg or a shell, and he would come out and do it. Well, now they've got the race from foul line to foul line, and whoever it is in the suit won the event as he knocked off some unsuspecting spectator who got a head start. He absolutely came up right beside him, and then he was kind of high-stepping and teasing him, and then he ran right by it. So that is kind of a new thing for the Chiba Lotte Marines. And for those of you who are listening in here, I have a feeling that that is going to be it for Roki Sasaki. He's going to be done after 6 because he's been getting some high fives in the dugout or low fives. So that'll be the bullpen who will have to do the job for the Marines here to bring it in. There's a first pitch fastball swung on, and it's grounded foul here to Nakamura. Count is 0-1. It's Nakamura, Yamaguchi, and Polanco here in the bottom of the 6th to face the lefty Kato. But I wanted to go back. I started to talk about my thought about that Harrison Bader trade for Montgomery last year. The Cardinals needed to make a move for an arm, and they have a glut of outfielders as there's a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded softly to short, fielded by Kamikawa Kabata. He throws to first, and Nakamura is gone. That's a ground out 6-3 for out number 1, and that's going to bring up the first baseman, Koki Yamaguchi. But that being said, Montgomery was, I believe he was 6-3 last year for the Cardinals when they got him. And so it'll be interesting to see how he performs. Of course, they lost out on Quintana, who ended up leaving and signing with the Mets. Our trailer says Jorge Polanco. It's actually Gregory Polanco, the former Pirate, in the ball game. As there's a breaking ball that misses down to Yamaguchi for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. John says 135 is screaming trap. There's a fastball that misses down. The count is now 2-0. Now that Roki Sasaki's night is done, interesting, they must have had him on a short leash. I say that because he was getting the high fives in the dugout. It looked like he was grabbing his glove and going to head down the tunnel. So this is where the game could get entertaining, as the bullpens are not exactly the most reliable, as there's a fastball swung on and grounded down the third base line. It's going to run the count to 2 balls and 1 strike to Yamaguchi. So Yamaguchi here, he's 1 for 2 tonight. Got a single and 2 trips as he waits on the offering from the lefty Kato, who works to the set and now kicks and delivers. It's a slow breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count goes to 2-2. 107 kilometers an hour. That would put that at about a 64 mile an hour curveball. Yamaguchi doubles over. I think he may have wanted that one back. Here comes the 2-2. As he kicks and delivers, it's a slow breaking ball swung on, and this ball is lifted down the right field line. Coming over is Manami, and he's going to make the catch in foul territory. That's going to retire Yamaguchi. Not a lot of fly balls in this one. As the first put out by the right fielder tonight. As we said, the wind has been blowing in stiff from the outfield, so keeping the ball out of the air has been something for sure that they have to do. Our friend Tyler says that Chiba is not very good or terrible when Roki isn't pitching. I have to say, last night, CC Mercedes Had a really good start for the Marines as the lefty kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball swung on and missed. The count is 0-1. No balls and 1 strike to Polanco. Fluby says, what is Yamaguchi? Yamaguchi is actually 1 for 3 tonight now. As here comes the offering. It is a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-1. Tyler says, was started watching last year when Roki wasn't pitching. Yeah, their pitching is a little dicey. There's a fastball swung on and is fielded by the first baseman, and that is going to be Kiyomiya, who's going to take it himself. That's going to go down as a ground out to 3 as Polanco hit the ball hard, but right to the first baseman, and that is going to do it. They go in order, do the Marines in their half of the 6. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 6 complete. It is the Marines 2 and the Fighters no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments. We do have a pitching change on our hands as they are going to the bullpen. As night is done for Roki Sasaki, 11 strikeouts is where he is taking it to go. We'll be right back after this from our friend Steve Rademacher.
This is Steve Rademacher, and I'd like to introduce you to my channel if you haven't seen it before. These are all the things I enjoy: sports, autographs, relics, non-sports Hall of Famers, pseudo-sports, Star Wars. That's my channel name and my name, and I would really appreciate it if you would come check me out and maybe even subscribe if you like it. Thank you for that for now, and back to your ball game.
Welcome back, everybody. It is a pitching change as they are going to the bullpen, and it's going to be Fumiya Ono coming on in relief for the Marines. Well, this is going to be Ono's 3rd appearance of the season. He has worked at 2 innings. He's allowed a hit, 1 walk. He has 1 strikeout. He's allowed 1 run, which has been earned, and he's got the ERA of 4.50. I have to tip my hat to Ono. He was the 2nd overall pick in the 2014 draft. He is 27 years old. Actually, he's 26. He's going to be 27 after the season is complete. But the thing that you got to like about Ono is that he has been getting better every year. He had a 1.99 ERA last year as he had appeared in 44 ball games. And every year since his rookie year, it's been pretty much a improvement in his earned run average. And his numbers are just continuing to get better. So he is on in relief, and he is going to be facing, for the Fighters, it'll be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the batting order. It's going to be Manami, Matsumoto, and Nomura. And the first offering is on the way. It's a breaking ball that misses outside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. So for Manami, he is now 1 for 7 on the early going, as he did have a single in the first inning. It was the only hit of the ball game thus far for the Marines. There's a fastball ripped foul down the left field line, and the count is 1-1. So interesting to see Ono in the ball game. Tough act to follow after you've had Roki Sasaki go 6 one-hit innings. It was like men against boys so far in this one. We appreciate Tyler here, and he's subbed to our channel. Thanks for being here. We're on all the time, although we won't be on tomorrow night, as there's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Chusei Manami. We are going to be back on the weekend when we do the Marines again and the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. We'll do the Saturday, Sunday Japanese games. Those will go off at 10 o'clock. And then usually what we'll do on about Sunday is we'll post our schedule for the week. A lot of the games are going to be in the middle of the night next week, and we'll probably cover some of the games next week but I may not do the week after. I'm going to be in Seattle in midweek, get down to see the Mariners play. As there is 2 balls and 2 strikes here to Manami. As the right-hander kicks and he delivers, it is a fastball swung on. It is grounded down to left field line. It's into the corner. It's going to be extra bases. Manami rounding first, heading to second, and he is going to cruise into second base with a stand-up double, as that is how it's going to be there. So now that's going to put the runner at second base with nobody out, and it's going to bring up Go Matsumoto to the plate. So that might be the right tonic for the Fighters hitters to chase or to get Sasaki out of the ball game and get into the Chiba bullpen. So that way they can start doing some of that stuff. Our friend Tyler says, what inspired you to cover the NPB? Well, the NPB, if I have to give you an honest answer, we were talking about this a few streams ago, and I said, one of the things that you look at is you see that the difference between, say, for example, the NBA and college basketball. The NBA, the players sometimes are just a little too good. It's like watching Major League Baseball. The players are sometimes just a little too good. And you watch this, and it's fun to watch. There is a fastball swung on. It is taken on one hop by the second baseman, Nakamura. He throws to first. It's going to retire Matsumoto on a ground out 4-3, but it's going to advance the runner, Manami, over to third. And that'll bring up the third baseman, Yuki Nomura. But we talked about it the other night. We said, with college basketball, the players are just not quite as refined, not quite as good, and they can make mistakes. And that's what you see sometimes in the Japanese league. The players maybe don't throw as hard. The shortstops don't have the arm strength, some of them. They just don't make the players that maybe plays like the Latin players do in the North American game, or the American players for that matter. As here comes the first offering to the right-handed hitting Nomura, and it's a breaking ball, misses down, and the count is 1-0. So, it still makes the game a little bit fun. And when you see it like this, it's entertaining. I like the fact that they play the small ball. It's not always about the home runs. As here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's a split finger pitch. It misses down, and the count is 2-0. They're able to execute. They're good fundamental skills for the most part. They hit their cutoffs. So it's a lot of entertainment. That is the part there. They try to play the game the right way. They run hard on and off the field. They run hard on the bases. And so those are all fun things that you get to watch with the Japanese. And I think sometimes, as there's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count is now 3 balls and no strikes to Nomura. You sometimes see in the North American game that size and speed sometimes can erase a lot of shortcomings technically. And in the case of the Japanese, they don't always have the size. They may have the speed, but they can't necessarily erase some of those shortcomings as easily as maybe the Latin players do. There's a fastball swung on. It is grounded up the middle. It is moving to his left, and fielding it is the shortstop, Tomosuji, and he throws to first, and that is going to retire Nomura, but that's going to bring in a run. So he ground out 6-3 by Nomura. He's gone for the second out, but he picks himself up an RBI. The Fighters are on the board with their first run of the ball game. So for those of you who are wanting that 1.5, you're probably pounding your fist on the table, upset now that the Fighters have scored a run here to make the score 2-1. Our friend Fluby says, I say the fundamentals and technicals are more solid than the MLB sometimes. They just lack the athleticism. Yeah, I would say the athletes are okay. It's just the size of the athlete. There's a split finger pitch that is swung on and missed, and the count is 0-1. And what I mean by that is I always use the equivalent to myself was when I went over and played in the college summer league in Michigan years ago, and here comes the pitch. It's a fastball swung on and missed. Count is 0-2. And I was a shortstop where I was coming from, but there was a Kentucky kid who could throw the ball 92 miles an hour across the infield. And my 84 across the infield wasn't very good. And here comes the pitch. It's the 0-2 offering is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 0-2. So the difference is I field a ground ball in the 6 hole, make a great play, fired across the infield. The runner is safe by half step. The Kentucky kid fields the ball, throws it across the infield, and the runner's out by a half step. And that's the difference between me and that other guy. And the difference between a Japanese shortstop and a major league shortstop would be kind of similar. You get a guy like Tatis going backhand into the 6 hole and he fires across the diamond. They're getting guys by a half a step, and you get Kabata or you get Kobakata going back into their backhand side, and they're not able to make the plays. Don't have the arm strength. So no balls and 2 strikes here to Kiyomiya with 2 out, nobody on. There's 1 run on the board here for the Fighters, and the pitch is on its way, and it's a fastball that's spiked up to the plate, and the count is now 1-2. Our friend Tyler says O'Neill Cruz is a great example of that. That's a perfect example. Here you got a shortstop at 6'7", throwing the ball 100 miles an hour across the infield. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses down. They appeal to the third base umpire, but they say Kiyomiya didn't go, and the count's 2-2. You think of O'Neill Cruz, boy, it's in that backhand side and fires it across. CV Baseball Card Collector says he saw Tatis play yesterday and today for El Paso. Yeah, I saw that he was on rehab assignment because it's going to be about a month away or less that he's going to be back up into the big leagues as his suspension will be over as that ball misses down, and it's now 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Fluby says, is that your way of trying to say you should have went to the NPB from college? As there's a fastball that misses down. That's going to be ball 4 as Kiyomiya's got himself a walk. Well, that's the reality. You hear a lot of people. It's kind of funny when you deal with parents over here, and you often hear people say, oh, I used to play baseball and an injury caught up to me. But you very rarely ever hear people say that they weren't very good, not good enough to be there. And I kind of chuckle a little bit because I was good enough to be there, just wasn't good enough to stay there at a college level. And eventually you start finding out why. I remember when you would play against the University of Michigan Summer League team and you play against Eastern Michigan, and you would look at some of the other stuff and you could see the difference between a D1 player and a D2 player and a D3 player and all points in between. The physical size of the athlete, that would be the first part that would stand out. And then the speed of some of the athletes. So that brings Ariel Martinez to the plate as he bats here with 1 run in and a runner at first, as the Fighters are trying to claw their way back into this one. And there's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Mr. Cap says, who's up to bat? It's the it's the top half of the 7th inning, and the Fighters are currently at bat here. Runner at first, Kiyomiya with 2 gone. No balls and 1 strike here to Martinez as Ono holds set at the belt, and now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike it is. But yeah, sometimes you have to look at it and say it's just, just sometimes you're not good enough. That's the unfortunate stark reality a lot of people don't want to admit to. Very few guys to get to the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. And here's the offering. It's a 1-1 pitch. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count is now 1-2 to Martinez. The game is now moving to the 8th inning in the game between the Golden Eagles and the Golden Eagles and the Eagles and the Lions. And that score is now 2-0 for Cebu. They've got another run on the board. So they are beating the Golden Eagles 2-0 now. And here's the 1-2 pitch. It is a split finger pitch swung on. It is grounded over to the third. They go to second for the fielder's choice. That's going to erase Kiyomiya 5-4 for the 3rd out of the inning. That will do it here for the Fighters in their half of the 7th. But they get 1 back as they've cut into the Marines' lead. There was 1 run in the inning on the benefit of 1 hit. There were no errors and 1 runner left aboard. We're now moving to the bottom of the 7th inning. Your score is the Chiba Lotte Marines 2 and the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back here in just a couple moments. We appreciate it when you guys are here with us. We'll be right back after this. Tyler asked the question. He says, are you going to commentate when Bauer pitches? Yeah, that's going to be the plan. I'd like to do a couple of those. I'm going to try to see if we can get a real coup and be able to do an interview with Bauer when I'm over in Japan in August. Hopefully he's still going to be over there and still healthy and pitching. Going to have to contact the agent Rachel there. Have some contacts and connections through there to get in contact with her. And if we do it, that would be a whole lot of fun. Might even be able to put that onto the members only section, that you come back and see a interview that way there. I don't know what he's got planned on his channel, but I think it would be a good, fun interview for sure. As here comes the first offering from the lefty as he kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. I do watch some of the channel on Bauer outage a little bit as I see what he's got cooking on his channel. He's got some interesting takes on some things, as there's a slow breaking ball that misses down and away. The count is 1-1. Our friend Fluby says, guys who get into the MLB are the one kid on your team who is the only one actually good and everyone knew it. The coach had to pretend like the whole team mattered. Well, sometimes, as there's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-2, I think of a kid like Jared Young, who was a kid from Prince George, British Columbia. He did one of our camps, a couple of our camps actually, a number of years ago. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into right field. It's going to get down for a base hit, and Manami fields it. He throws to first base, but is not going to be in time. The right fielder was charging, and he decided to try to take a shot at first base. He threw it there on one hop. But Chitani was coming hard out of the box, and he was able to beat it out. Boy, that would have been entertaining. But the play was close, but not as close as it could have been. And if Chitani wasn't coming hard, he might have been hosed over there. That is going to be a base hit single for him, and that's going to bring up Hiromi Oda. And Oda is already squaring the bunt because they're going to want to try to cash in a run here. So Oda is already in that squared around position, and they throw over to first base, and diving back in time is the base runner, Chitani. Oda looking for his first hit of the year. He is 0 for 8. He was hit by a pitch his first time up tonight, so little wonder why they're taking the bat out of his hands, because he's already taken out of his hands himself. I think back to that Jared Young. So I was starting to say, Jared Young, when we saw him, his throwing wasn't very good. He was a big, tall kid. He projected that way. He didn't know that he was going to probably go on. His father was actually a national team player for Canada a number of years ago. And there's a pitch out. Ball's outside, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes to Oda. But his throwing mechanics weren't very good. He ended up going to a junior college in Colorado and then went on to play at Old Dominion, and he ended up getting drafted by the Cubs. He made his major league debut last year for the Cubs. He's not with the big league roster, but he's in AAA. But when you looked at him, you thought, is this guy going to get to the big leagues? Probably not. There were kids that were with him that were better. So sometimes you see guys, just their work ethic, their demeanor. Sometimes guys get better as they get older. Other guys, they don't work as hard. Think they're pretty good as a young player, and the next thing you know is they get passed by because they stop working. You can't stop working in baseball. You got to keep plugging away. And there's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is now 2-0 to Oda. Our friend Tyler asked the question, if I ask momentum. Nope, don't really have time. But back to the question about commentating when Bauer is on. Yeah, I'd like to cover a couple of games when Bauer's on the mound. I think there'll be a lot of entertainment. So we'll have to see. They said he's going to be ready to pitch in about the middle of April, so that's about another week and change away. I don't know what night they're going to designate him as a starter, if they'll make him a midweek guy or if they'll put him on to the weekends. I mean, heck, on the weekends, he's going to be a draw. But on the middle of the week, he might be a bigger draw because they don't always get the biggest attendances during the week, because that ball is bunted foul. The count is now 2 balls and 1 strike to Oda. It'll be followed by Matsukawa here, who's on deck. So Oda here trying to get the job done. He popped that one foul. So yeah, I'd be kind of curious to see how the certainly opportunity maybe to be able to catch up with maybe a couple of these guys, maybe try to do an interview or two while we're over there. It'd be lots of fun. But at the same time, I'm also still, this is, for me, I'm going as a fan, not trying to make any connections. I know a couple of scouts over there in the Pacific Rim. As that ball is bunted, fielded by the pitcher, he throws to first. It's going to go down as a sacrifice, 1-4. And that is going to retire Oda for the first out of the inning. It's going to move Chitani over to second. It looks like we're going to have ourselves a pinch hitter here. It's going to be Seiya Inoue who's coming in to pinch hit. I don't know if I've seen Seiya hit this year. But the big fella is coming in. He's going to replace Ko Matsukawa, the catcher. So Seiya Inoue coming into the ball game. He's going to get an opportunity here to try to drive in a run as Chitani is the runner at second base. Other part is getting a chance 3 weeks over in Asia. Be able to get myself over there and be able to see quite a few games, go as a fan, and just enjoy myself in general. I don't have to think about doing so much. And as I said, trying to do the odd little stream here and there and produce the shorts and take you guys on a tour with me as I go to some of the parks. We're going to try to get to 10 of the 12 parks. The only ones that we won't get to are in the Sapporo region, as the fastball misses down and the count is 1-0 to Inoue. Inoue is a big fella. He bats from the right side as he waggles the bat here, waiting on the offering here from the lefty Kato, who is still in the ball game at 88 pitches. As the lefty here, Inoue, or the lefty Kato delivers to Inoue, it's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is now even at 1-1. Inoue does have 8 at-bats on the year. He's got 1 hit. So batting 125 on the early season here. So 1 ball and 1 strike. The runner Chitani establishes his lead at second. He's got 1 on the turf, 1 foot on the turf, and the other on the dirt. Here's the pitch from Kato. It's a fastball swung on and is popped foul. It's behind home plate, and it's going to reach the seats, and that's going to run the count to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Seiya Inoue batting here for Matsukawa, and it'll be Fujiwara who waits on deck. The wind is still blowing. We haven't seen an update if it's still coming in from center field or if it's changed direction. It was really blowing hard straight in from center field at the beginning of the ball game. And here comes the offering as a fastball that backs Inoue off the plate, and the count goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tyler says the Japanese live energy is insane. Yeah, the last couple of years, they were kind of quieted down a little bit because of some of the restrictions. But they've been given the thumbs up for lots of cheering this year. There is a fastball swung on. It is lined back to the pitcher. It is caught. They throw down to second base, and the ball gets by the infielders into center field, but the runner is not going to be able to advance. It's a nice play by the center fielder, backing up the play. Well done there by Isobata. The hitter Inoue hit the ball right back, line drive to the pitcher. And as he turned to fire it down to second base, the second baseman Ishii was coming over to the base, and it was kind of against the grain. He ends up in center field. And now we're going to have a visit from the pitching coach here. That is going to retire Inoue for the second out, and that's going to leave it all up to Kyoto Fujiwara. As Kato's visit has now been completed. Alexander Leggett, our friend Fluby, as he goes by right now, is, did you see Chapman from the Royals? He was throwing hundreds all night. Actually, I haven't really paid attention to the Royals and what he's doing over there. So Kyoto Fujiwara stepping to the plate, 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out his first time up and he walked and was stranded at third back in the 5th inning. So all you guys who are sitting on that Chiba by 1.5, you got to be biting your nails right now. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Hustler's Paradise in the house tonight. Wants to know if anyone's on base. Yeah, there was a runner on second right now with 2 gone here, as Chitani is the runner at second base. So they're looking to try to cash this run in here for some insurance. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes it is. Lior asks the question, how do you watch this? Are you in Japan? Lior, if you were in here earlier, there's a whole bunch of people that would have provided you some of that information to help you out. Here comes the 0-2 offering as the lefty holds set, and now he kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball that misses inside. The appeal over to the third base umpire, but they say Fujiwara didn't go, and that runs the count now to 1-2. I'd like to get a look at that one on the replay to myself to see if he went around. But they say he didn't, so that's 1 ball and 2 strikes to the left-handed hitting Fujiwara. Waggling the bat. Is the left-handed hitting Fujiwara as he waits here on the offering now from Kato. As Kato looks in and he gets the sign from his catcher, Usami is ready to go back to work. He holds set at the belt, and now he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses down. The count is now 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. As a reminder, tomorrow, we're not going to call the game tomorrow night, but we are going to be back on the weekend for the Marines and the Eagles. So hopefully you guys can come on in and check that out. Our community page, we will update more than likely tomorrow morning on who we think is going to win tomorrow. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted into deep left field, and it's going to get over the head of Manami all the way to the wall. That's going to score Chitani. And rounding second and stopping at second with a double is going to be Fujiwara. That's going to be an RBI double, and the Marines have extended their lead to 3-1. I have to say that Manami was playing shallow there in left field. It looked like they were taking away the flare, and the ball was hit right over his head. He was playing shallow. They had to be able to throw somebody out. Ball got 1 hop to the wall. He had to get down there to chase it down, but it is going to bring home Chitani for the 3rd run for the Marines. So those who've got the over 1.5, they're breathing a sigh of relief here, and that's going to bring up the top of the order, and that's going to bring up Katsuya Kakanaka. And for Kakanaka, this is going to be his first at-bat of the ball game as he came in to replace Takashi Ojino, who left the game as it looked like he had either tweaked or popped a hamstring. So 3-1 now for the Marines. As the lefty gets his sign from the catcher Usami. We appreciate their Lior for being here. As there's a breaking ball that is swung on and is lifted down the left field line, battling the sun, which is now out, and the wind, and making the catch is the third baseman Nomura, and that is going to do it. As Kakanaka is done here for out number 3. Well, they got a run in the inning, 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 runner left the board. We are now through 7. It is the Marines 3 and the Fighters 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments as we appreciate everybody for listening in here tonight and everybody who has joined the channel. We thank you for that as well. We'll be right back with this after this from our friend Matt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city, San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's another Hollis build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Appreciate you, Matt, and your support of the channel. We'll be back in 30 seconds with all the action. There is a pitching change, and we'll get that for you when we return. Hang tight, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be Kishiro Sakamoto, a lefty, coming on in relief for the Marines. He is going to be making his third appearance of the season. He has worked 2 innings. He's allowed 1 hit. He hasn't walked anybody, and he has struck out 2 in those first 2 appearances. He has his second year now with the Marines. He came over in a trade with the Yakult Swallows last year. He had appeared in 63 ball games with the Swallows. But he is a lefty, and for what the Marines need is some left-handed help coming out of the bullpen, and he looks to provide that. So we'll see how this goes. He had some shoddy numbers the last few years with the Swallows, and the first pitch is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. It is Kamikawa, Kabata, Usami, and Ishii here, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters, to get things going against the lefty Sakamoto. And there's a fastball swung on it. Is grounded over to second. Fielded by Nakamura. They throws to first. And that is going to retire Kamikawa Kabata on a ground out 4-3 for out number 1. So 1 up and 1 away. And that's going to bring up Shingo Usami. You know, it makes you wonder a little bit sometimes when you see the numbers that this lefty has. Sometimes pitching coaches can look at a player and say, I think I can tweak this player. Let's bring this guy in. Maybe that was going through the mind of the Marines pitching coaches when they look at him. He's got a live arm. It looks like we have a pinch hitter here for Usami. As they are going to the bench, it's going to be a right-handed hitter for the Fighters. This is number 32, and it is Yachi who swings and fouls away the first pitch he sees. This is Ryota Yachi. This is his first at bat of the season, as he is coming on to pinch hit off the bench. So no balls and 1 strike to him. Yachi, this is his 5th year with the Fighters. He also came from the Yakult Swallows. 6 seasons with the Swallows before coming to the Fighters. He is 32 years old. And Yachi is an infielder. So we'll see if he stays in the game or if be moving some parts around. Here comes the pitch. It is a fastball that misses down and away, and the count now is 1 ball and 2 strikes to Yachi. Our friend Shotgun Shell says he got an over 5.5 for me, as there is a fastball swung on, and this ball is going to be bled down into right field. And Yachi's going to get himself a base hit. That's a single here. That's going to be the 3rd hit of the ball game. Chusei Manami has 2 of the hits, and now somebody else has a hit, and Yachi's got his first. So he is aboard with a single. That's going to bring up Kazunori Ishii to the plate. Our friend says he's got an over a 5.5 bet for us. Call in some more runs. Well, let's see what's going to happen here. And here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses up and away. Count is 1 ball and no strikes. Ryota Isabata is on deck. That'll be the top of the order. He'll follow here if Ishii can get on and stay out of the double play. Here comes the 1-0 offering as the lefty Sakamoto delivers. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is now 2-0. Our friend Hustler's Paradise is pulling for the double play. Well, Sakamoto here is going to throw some strikes. He's behind in the count 2-0. There's nothing worse when the 8 and 9 guys are finding a way on base to set the table for the top part of the order. And this is where we're at here. They've got the 8 hitter has reached with a single. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is now 2-1. And Ishii here batting in the 9 hole hasn't done very well this season, is heading the count at 2-1. Shotgun Shell says bunt him over. I think they need more than just the 1 run, as they don't want to be trading outs right now at this point. There's a fastball swung on. This is lifted foul down the left field line, but it's going to get into the seats. Runs the count to 2-2. Hustler's Paradise says it's always the closers who mess it up. I would assume it's going to be Masuda tonight. He pitched last night's ball game, and one would have to think he's going to come back on back-to-back nights. Be curious to see how he performs on the back-to-back night. So 2 balls and 2 strikes it is. As the lefty Sakamoto holds set, now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball taken for a called 3rd strike. Ishii stood there like the house by the side of the road and watched it go by for out number 2. It's not going to be a better 2-2 pitch than that. But there he goes back to the dugout talking to himself, and that's going to bring up the top of the order in Ryota Isabata. Our friend Alex says he's passing out. We appreciate you having tuned in tonight. And on this note, it looks like we may have ourselves a pitching change, and that is exactly what's going to happen. The Marines are going to the bullpen. Sakamoto's night is done. We're going to have a pitching change here, so hang tight, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments right after this.
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining Freddie here on his baseball game. And I'm Steve Rademacher, and my channel is really all about everybody, including all my international friends. We have such stuff as non-sport packs from Canada, the OP cheese. We have the Greek Freak. We have money from around the world. We have lira. We have yen. We have francs. We have pounds. We have Deutschmarks. We have all kinds of cool stuff like that. We even have some cooler things like Japanese women wrestlers and OPC baseball cards where I cannot read the back. We even have unopened material like the royal family, I know it's backwards, from London, England. Thank you for watching. Back to Freddie.
Appreciate you, Steve. And it is going to be former Detroit Tiger Luis Castillo coming on in relief, not to be confused with Luis Castillo, maybe in the big leagues. And so he is going to be taking over here. It's going to be his 2nd appearance in the NPB. He pitched 1 inning, he allowed a couple of hits. He had struck out 1, and he allowed a run in his debut. He's got an ERA of 9. So the right-hander Castillo is coming into the ball game here, and he's going to face Ryota Isabata, the runner at first and 2 away. So as he completes his warm-up tosses, we have our friend who has joined us in the chat, and that would be Nate here. And so, Nate, if you check the bottom of the ticker, you're going to see the score. It is 3-1, and it says the top of the 8th inning, and then you'll just have to sit back and listen to the call and let your ears do the listening, and we'll keep you updated on everything. But we thank you for joining the stream. So here we go. So this is going to be the warm-up tosses are completed for Castillo, and he's going to be facing, looks like a pinch hitter here. So number 61 is into the ball game, a right-handed stick. We'll get you that here in a moment. As the first pitch from Castillo is a breaking ball swung on, and it's check swings foul over on the first baseline, and the count is 0-1. This is Imagawa into pinch hit for Isobata. So Yuma Imagawa in here. He has had at bats this season. He is 1 for 2, and he's also driven in a run. He is batting here for Isobata, and the pitch is a fastball. It is swung on. It is grounded up the middle. A great play by Nakamura, diving to his right. He flips it over to second, and that is going to retire the base runner, Yachi, for the third out of the inning. It's going to be a fielder's choice, 4-6. And that will do it here, as that will finish off the half inning in the eighth. They got no runs in the inning. There was a hit. There was no errors, and one left aboard. We're now moving to the bottom of the eighth inning. Your score is the Chiba Lotte Marines 3 and the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back here in just a couple moments. We appreciate you all for jumping in here with us. We'll be right back after this from our friend Matt.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole. Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. We are moving here to the bottom half of the eighth inning, as it is going to be coming up to bat, scheduled to come to bat. It'll be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Chiba Lotte Marines. It'll be Atsuki Tomosuji, then Shogo Nakamura, and Koki Yamaguchi. So 2, 3, and 4 in the inning. What a beautiful play by Nakamura, diving to his right to be able to stop that ball from going up the middle. And that last half inning, so Luis Castillo is going to give that round of applause. That's not a bad night out, and you have to come in and throw a couple pitches, and you end up getting the side retired. But that is exactly what he did. A fantastic job there. So the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters, as we're looking here, it appears that they are going to the bullpen again. It is going to be Iguchi onto the hill, number 29, a right-hander, as he is going to take over here. So Kazumoto Iguchi here on in relief. It's his second appearance of the year. Worked 1 inning. He has struck out 1, and he has an ERA of 0. The first pitch is a fastball that misses upstairs for ball 1, and the count is 1-0 to Tomosuji. Tomosuji tonight is 0 for 2. He's grounded to short and struck out. He's also had a sacrifice bunt. So 0 for 2 tonight. And here comes the 1-0 offering. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Tomosuji is aboard here, as that is a leadoff single. That's going to bring up Shogo Nakamura to the plate. So the Marines here are looking for some insurance runs in their half of the eighth inning, as the Fighters will be down to their final bats in the ninth inning. So Shogo Nakamura stepping to the plate. He is 2 for 3 tonight. He came into the game hitting 1 for 18, and now he is 3 for 21. He also has a RBI and a double. So that is where we stand here. So the right-hander Iguchi ready to go again, as he holds to the set position, and now he steps off and fakes a throw to first base. Getting back easily there is the runner Tomosuji. Apparently they're looking for the bunt in this situation. It'll be interesting to see if they do put the bunt on. And here comes the pitch, but there it is not going to happen. It's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. You got the 3 and 4 hitters in the order here. I know that it's not out of the realm for Japanese to bunt their middle of the order guys, but they are looking for some insurance here as they're up by 2. Some of our friends that are popping in tonight. We got Ben Hawking in here. Thank you for stopping back in tonight. For those of you who are looking for the under, you got 6 outs to go. You can count them down. Here comes the offering now to Nakamura as the Iguchi delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted down the left field line. If it stays fair, it's going to be trouble, and it is just going to hook foul. And that is going to run the count to no balls and 2 strikes. Just a little bit out in front of it there. And, of course, the wind is blowing like crazy. So he was a little bit ahead of that pitch there. Everybody had their heads cranked around as it went for a ride. So no balls and 2 strikes it is as the right-hander gets his sign. The catcher, and they flip over to first base, and getting back in time is the base runner. Tomosuji establishes his lead. He's got 1 foot on the turf and 1 in the dirt. As the right-hander Iguchi works to the set position, it's an 0-2 count to Nakamura. Now he kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball swung on, and it is swung, and it gets through the first baseman in the right field. And racing all the way around to third is the runner Tomosuji. Now they got runners on the corners with nobody out. They're going to give that a base hit. That ball was hit hard. It'll be the 3rd hit of the ball game for Nakamura. That ball was able to get through the first baseman. We'll see that one again. Absolute bullet. He had to try to go to the backhand side, and it just went off his glove underneath it. Unable to come up with it there was Kiyomiya. So now that's going to put runners on the corners. Even if he would have stopped it and knocked it down, it would have kept Tomosuji at second base. But that did not happen as that ball had eyes and got into the outfield. So now runners at the corners with nobody out. For the people that are here hoping for the under, well, you got your work cut out for you. It's going to bring up Koki Yamaguchi to the plate. Yamaguchi is 1 for 3 tonight. He's got a single in 3 trips. As he is waiting here, the infield is in for the Fighters. Everybody is on the green portion or at the edge of the green portion of the grass, as it is on a turf field. And here comes the first pitch. It is a split finger pitch. It misses down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Lots of action here. Of course, as the folks in the chat said earlier, that the other game is a final. It was a 2-1 victory last night. Or that's a 2-1 victory for the Lions here tonight. And it's 3-1 here for the Marines in the bottom of the 8th inning, and they're looking to pad their lead. There's a split finger pitch. It swung on and missed. And the count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. Always get a kick out of that. So kind of a wasted effort there by Masahiro Tanaka. He's not going to take the loss, though. It's Sora Suzuki who's going to get the loss for the Golden Eagles in that one. Like the Saitama Cebu Lions winning pitcher. More than likely he'll come in relief. I don't know if Matsumoto would be in line for it, if it would be one of the, maybe it's Morawaki who would pick up the win. We'll have to see that final report. Here comes the 1-1 pitch, and it is a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into center field, moving back on it and making the catch in front of the warning track. It's going to be a deep fly ball that's going to get the runner home. Tomosuji is going to come in and cash, and that is going to be the 4th run of the ball game. That is going to be a sacrifice fly for Yamaguchi. Sacrifice fly to 8. He gets himself an RBI, and that is going to bring up the designated hitter, Gregory Polanco, or at least it's scheduled to bring him to bat. So he does his job hitting that deep fly ball. That is going to be the 4th run of the ball game now for the Marines, as they have a 4-1 lead. Another insurance run here. And so for a lot of the people probably tearing up their tickets and leaving the chat, pounding their fist on the table, if you had the under at 4.5, well, you just saw it slip through your fingers. That brings up Polanco to the plate, and he swings at a first pitch fastball, and he fouls that one away. That is going to reach the seats, and that's going to run the count to 0-1. And so one thing we didn't see on that is Nakamura had actually taken second base and on a defensive indifference, and now he has moved to third on the sac fly. So we've got a runner at third with one run in here, and that's going to bring, as we say, it brings Polanco to the plate, and there's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. So if you had the under 5.5, you're still alive. So the crowd is cheering here in Chiba, looking for another run. Polanco tonight, 0 for 3 in this one. There's a fastball that just misses inside, and the count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Gregory Polanco. He entered the game hitting .077. That number is on the decline. The big fella here waiting on the offering from the right-hander Yaguchi, who holds to the set position. And now he kicks and fires. It's a fastball that misses inside, and the count goes to 3-1. So 3 balls and 1 strike it is. Our friend Tyler says the over is dead. It depends, I guess, where you picked it up at. Some people had the 4.5. I thought at the beginning of the game it was 5.5 for some reason. So our friend Shotgun Shell has got some stuff going on there. There's a split finger pitch that is swung on and missed, and the count now goes full. Our friend Hustler's Paradise says 2 outs. No, there's only 1 out here, as the sac fly by Yamaguchi was the first out of the inning. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Polanco, with the runner Nakamura at third and 1 gone. As Polanco waggles the bat, waiting here on the offering from Iguchi. He works to the set position. And now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses inside, and that's going to put Polanco aboard on a base on balls. That's going to put runners at the corners with 1 gone, and it's going to bring Kenta Chitani to the plate. And the Marines look like they're going to have a pinch runner, as that night is going to be over for Gregory Polanco. So we have a pinch runner here as coming into the ball game. He's done his job, did Polanco. But it's going to be number 57 entering the ball game, and this is going to be Tatsunori Ogawa. And for him, we'll keep our eye if they have a defensive indifference. This is his first appearance of the 2023 season. So Kenta Chitani is 1 for 3 tonight. He's now 2 for 10 on the season. He scored the second run of the ball game. Checked out the third run of the ball games for the Marines. So he bats here with runners on the corners and 1 gone. And one would have to think if they sent Nakamura earlier, they may consider doing the same here with the pinch runner. And here's the pitch and squaring to bunt as the batter, but that is going to allow the runner to get down to second base as Ogawa gets over to second. They drop the ball. So Ogawa is now in scoring position with 1 gone here, and it's going to be 1 ball and no strikes to Chitani. The catcher there for the Marines was unable to hang on to the ball. The ball squirted away from him and allowed the runner at first to make his way down to second base. I don't think it'll be a pass ball, but certainly one of those situations. The catcher right now is Sato behind the plate for the Marines, and it is now Shimizu for the Fighters. There's a fastball swung on it. It's popped up over on the first base side, racing over, but it's going to drift into the seats. Kiyomiya has no play. That's going to run the count to 1-1. So Shimizu, the new catcher for the Fighters. As we said, Sato has taken over for the Marines. In some ways, I kind of get a kick out of it that they have multiple catchers on these teams. Some guys, they're there for their bat. Some guys are there for their defense. You get late in the game and they almost make a defensive change for the catcher. It's like you got a closer for the pitchers, while you got a closer for the catchers as well. So 1 strike to Chitani. As the right-hander holds set at the chest, and now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses inside, and the count is now 2-1. Not only did the over go away in this one, as it's already been passed, at this rate here, it might get blown away. Higuchi is having a hard time locating his pitches here. So 2 strike. Marine fans will be pleased about this one. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, it's a fastball that just misses outside, and the count is now 3-1. So 3 strike. Our friend Shotgun Shell says, I have a leg in this one too. Well, here we go. It could be a base hit here, and that'll not just get you 1, but it'll get you 2. As the right-hander works to the set position. Very upright is Higuchi. Takes his time and now delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into center field, and it's going to hang up enough. It's going to be caught. And then racing in and tagging from third is the runner Nakamura. It's going to be a sacrifice fly. As Chitani does his job, he's going to get himself an RBI. A sacrifice to 8. Holding at second is the pinch runner for Polanco, and that is going to increase the scoreline to 5-1. So our friend Hustler's Paradise says he needs the 3.5. Well, looks like you got that. Hit that ball right on the screws, Chitani, and then it forced the center fielder to have to back up and make the catch. Of course, the new center fielder in the game for Isobata. Is Imagawa, who had replaced him. So now here's Hiromi Oda to the plate, and the first pitch is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is quickly 0-1. Oda tonight officially 0-for-1. He was hit by a pitch, and he had a sacrifice bunt. He grounded to the third baseman in the middle part of his at-bats. 2 runs on the board here for the Marines in the bottom of the 8th inning, and they're looking for more as they've got a runner at second with 2 gone. Base hit here to the outfield would probably bring that runner home. There's a split finger pitch that misses down, and the count is 1-1. So 1 strike. Shotgun Shell says, yeah, he served up the 3-1 pitch. That is exactly what he did. Marquez Powell says he's got some money on the money line and the over at 5.5. Well, now that 6 runs are on the board, you've got that one. Good for you there, Marquez. There's the pitch. It is a split finger pitch swung on, and this ball is lined into left field. Here comes the play at the plate. They've rounded the runner. Throw is not in time as the pinch runner slides in safely. I wonder if they'll maybe take a look at this one. Yep, the big boss is coming out, and he wants to get a look at it. It was a single by Oda. The play at the plate, the runner came in head first. We're going to have to get a wait on this one here. If they score the run here, that will extend the score line to 6-1. The umpires are going to go under and have a look. We're going to get the replays here, so we'll see what happens. Caleb Atkins in the house says finally gets his money back. Let's see what's going to happen here. We're going to get the replays. Oda turned on that pitch. We're playing shallow. The left fielder was charging in, came up throwing. We see the play at the plate. It was a bang-bang play. And I think, in my opinion, that is still going to be a safe call. I think this call is going to stand. We'll watch here. I don't believe that the tag was in time. So for those of you who are needing this run, I think it's going to be a 6-1 game here in just a moment. I don't think this is going to take very long at all to determine the outcome of this call. The catcher who tried to get over to block the plate. That is the way it goes. Our friend Bill, we appreciate you, Bill. And it is a safe call. That is going to ruin the challenge. It's going to be an RBI for Oda. And Polanco is going to score that run. And that is going to make the scoreline now 6-1. We appreciate you for sending over that extra bit of money through the PayPal account. So the score line here, 6-1 for the Marines. It looks like we're going to have ourselves a pinch batter here, as it's going to be Sato. Actually, Sato had come into the game after Inoue had pinched hit for Matsukawa. So our friend Tyler says the 3.5 is looking good now. I guess it all depends on who the Marines roll out onto the hill. And the pitch is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Sato. So no balls and 1 strike. There's 2 gone here in the 8th inning. Sato batting from the left side against Taguchi, waiting on the offering, and the pitch is on the way. It's a split finger pitch and misses down. The count goes to 1-1. This game here ran a little later. I'd even consider sticking around for yet another one, but I don't think that's going to be the case tonight. 2 hours and 40 minutes deep. Tyler says Castillo can't go back out. I think he can. There's no reason why he can't. I don't know if they're going to bring somebody else in and just give Castillo the rest of the night off. There's a split finger pitch that misses down. It's going to run the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. As I mentioned before, hopefully if you guys stick around with us in the month of August and September when we are over in Japan, we're going to take you on some little tours of the stadiums and all kinds of fun stuff with us. Really looking forward to that. I'll do some live stuff. I'm going to take a lot of video. A lot of files, a lot of things on the works. There's a split finger pitch swung on and missed, and that's going to run the count to 2-2 now to Sato. Had the Marines to win this one tonight, but I lost out on the Golden Eagles. I had them to beat the Lions with Masahiro Tanaka on the mound. No luck for Masahiro Tanaka tonight. So here comes the 2-2 pitch as the right-hander holds set and now delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on, taps softly over to second. It is fielded by Ishii, throws on the run. That is going to retire Sato for the 3rd out of the inning. It goes as a ground out, 4-3. Is going to end the inning here. Well, they got 3 runs in the inning, did the Marines, on the benefit of 3 hits. There was no errors and 1 runner left the board. We are now moving to the top of the 9th inning, and it does look like we're going to have a pitching change because the manager is out talking to the umpire. So hang tight, everybody. We'll be back here in just a moment. We appreciate you guys for being in here tonight. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is a pitching change. We're going to have a right-hander coming in. It's going to be Takahiro Nishimura. He is going to be making his 2nd appearance of the season. He has worked 1 inning. He has allowed 1 walk. He has 1 strikeout, and he has an ERA of 0. He is a former Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighter. He had pitched the last 5 seasons with Hokkaido, so he's going to be facing his former team for the first time here. He is going to be 30 years old in May. So Nishimura on in relief here. We have some changes around the infield. Koki Yamaguchi is out of the ball game. And they do have a new first baseman, does Chiba, as it'll be Oshida taking over there. So Nishimura has completed his warm-up tosses, and we are ready to go. Our friend Caleb Atkins says the Buffaloes are minus 235. Am I missing something? Yoshinobu Yamamoto, their ace, is on the mound. So that would be probably a reason. So 2, 3, and 4 hitters to come to bat here. It's going to be Chusei Manami, Go Matsumoto, and Yuki Nomura to face their former teammate. Our friend Lior Shimino says that he misses the Tanaka on the Yankees. Yeah, I have to say, Masahiro Tanaka was a big game pitcher. You could really rely on him when he would take to the hill. In the big leagues, one of the better Japanese arms, as the first pitch is a fastball swung on and missed. The count is quickly 0-1 to Manami. Manami tonight has 2 hits in his 3 trips to the plate. He's got a single, a double. He scored a run. So he is now 2 for 8 on the season as the right-hander delivers. It is a fastball that misses outside. The count is 1 ball and 1 strike. As the right-hander Nishimura ready to go to work again. And here comes the 1-1 offering. It is a fastball that misses down and away, and the count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Caleb says he's going with the Hawks. That's why we chose the Buffaloes was Yamamoto. If your ace has got to do his job, he's going to have to stop the bleeding. There's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count is now 3-1. So 3 balls and 1 strike to Miami. For those of you who've got the over-under at 3.5, there would be nothing worse than seeing a walk and then somebody hit a bomb and they still lose the game, and then you'll lose that 3.5. There's the pitch. It's a fastball that swung on and fouled away, and the count now is 3 balls and 2 strikes to Manami. Once again, we'll do a little wrap-up of this one here once the game is over. And then we will give you guys some of the wrap-up here. I'm just taking a look to see, I'm hoping if the English website that we like to use is finally updating itself, and there's a fastball swung on and fouled, or swung on and missed. It's going to retire Manami for the 3rd out of the inning. But it looks like they are still not updating their scores, which is a disappointment on the English box score. So Manami is out for the 1st out of the inning, and that is going to bring up the left fielder Go Matsumoto. Matsumoto tonight officially 0 for 3. He's bounced into a fielder's choice. He's grounded to 3rd and grounded to 2nd. And here comes the first offering. It is a fastball swung on and fouled away. And this ball is going to just make its way down the line, but unable to come and get it is the right fielder, Kakanaka. This ball is going to sail into the seats. So no balls and 1 strike to Matsumoto. As we mentioned, be sure to check tomorrow our shorts, as we're going to put the highlights from yesterday's game, that wild pitch. Got it queued up. I'll do my best John Boy impersonation. We'll give you some of that. And we also got the Ephus pitch we promised you. I'm not going to put any highlights up on this one. It'll be too long to crop and to do, as that ball was fouled away by Matsumoto, and the count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. As the right-hander now kicks and delivers, it's a fastball that misses up and away, and the count is 1-2. We'll keep doing it until the Japanese League tells us we can't do it. Major League Baseball now allows people to break down stuff and put things up. So you get the opportunity to post those videos. We'll do what we can. There's a split finger pitch that bounces up into the front of the plate and gets behind the catcher, and the count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. The third baseman, Yuki Nomura, waits his turn on deck. We're here in the top of the 9th inning. It is a 6-1 scoreline for the Marines. As the right-hander, Nishimura, ready to deliver. He kicks and fires. Again, a pitch that bounces up to the catcher, and the count is now 3-2. So back-to-back hitters, he's gone full on. The right-hander ready to go again. And here comes the 3-2 offering as he works to the set position. Now he kicks and delivers. It is a fastball swung on. It is grounded over to first. It is fielded by Imagawa. He flips it to the pitcher covering. Only 3 hits in this ball game by the Fighters. They had made the one error, 1-3-1 for the Fighters, 6-10-0 for the Marines on the line score. But the Fighters are down to their final out. As the right-hander to go, he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is quickly 0-1. Nishimura looking good against his former team. As Nomura here waits on the 0-1 offering. It is a fastball that misses outside, and the count goes to 1-1. I say that looking good. I mean, let's face it. He has thrown, right now he's at 14 pitches, 7 strikes, and 7 balls. There's a fastball swung on it. It's grounded over to third. Shitani fields it. He throws to first. And that is going to do it as Nomura has grounded out 5-3 for the final out of the ball game. That is going to do it here as the Marines have walked away with the victory 6-1. There was no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board in the 9th inning. Your final score is Chiba 6 and Hokkaido 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments to wrap this one up, give you all the rundown, and then let you know what we're doing moving forward in the next little bit. Hang tight. We'll be right back.
Good evening, sports fans. I hope you all have been enjoying the game. This is just another message from another Hollis build. I hope that your team is in the lead, but if not, remember, that's life. That's what all the people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in May. But you know I'm gonna change that tune. When I'm back on top in June. I said that's life, and as funny as it may seem, some people get their kicks stomping on my team, but I don't let it get me down, 'cause this fine old world, it keeps spinning around. I hope you enjoy the rest of the game, and if it remains the same, remember, that's life. You want your fill? Go check another Hollis build on YouTube. Last Raps Baseball. Let's get back to the game. Let's go! You know that's life. You know it. One love and peace.
Appreciate you, Matt Hollis, and your support of the channel, and in turn, we support Matt. Be sure to check him out after the game, another Hollis build. Well, we have the final score. We'll give you the rundown here, and then we'll wrap it up for this evening. It is a 6-1 final. The Chiba Lotte Marines got the scoring going in the first inning when Takashi Ogino led off with a single. He was sacked to second, and Shogo Nakamura drove him in with an RBI double, and the Marines were off and running 1-0. In the 4th inning, Nakamura singled, and then Koki Yamaguchi singled, and Gregory Polanco bounced into before that, Gregory Polanco bounced into a fielder's choice. That put runners on the corners, and then with Kenta Chitani batting, the starting pitcher, Kato, for the Fighters, threw a ball into the right field corner, and that allowed the runner Nakamura to score from third, and Polanco went all the way around to third. They only got able to cash in the 1 run there in the 4th. It wasn't until the 7th inning where we saw some more scoring. It was the Fighters this time, as Chusei Manami led off with a double after Go Matsumoto grounded out to second to move him over to third. It was Yuki Nomura who grounded into a 6-3 groundout that scored Chusei Manami from third base for the first run for the Fighters. Well, in the 7th inning, bottom of the 7th, the Marines got that run back. A leadoff single by Chitani. Then Hiromi Oda sacrificed him to second. After a lineout by Seiya Inoue, it was a double by Kyoto Fujiwara who brought home Chitani and that increased the lead to 3-1. And then in the bottom of the 8th inning, that's where the game got blown apart. The Chiba Lotte Marines, a leadoff single by Tomosuji, followed by a single by Nakamura, then a sacrifice fly by Yamaguchi brought home the first run of the inning. Gregory Polanco then walked, and then Chitani had a sacrifice fly to drive in the second run. And then Hiromi Oda drove in the third run of the inning with a base hit single. And that is where your scoreline ended. It was a final score of 6-1. All right, everybody. Well, once again, we appreciate everybody for checking in. Our friend Shrambini Tennis in the house. If you guys like tennis, be sure to go check out Shrambini. Yannick is always over there. All our friends that were in here tonight, Lior, we got Caleb, we got Alexander Leggett, Tyler, friend, we got our friend Shotgun Shell. We had everybody else, Marquez Powell, anybody who I missed, Hustler's Paradise, Ben Hawking. We appreciate everybody for listening in tonight, as this again has been another one. Remember, we're not going to do a game tomorrow night, but we are going to do the Saturday and Sunday games between the Marines and the Eagles. So hopefully everybody can come on back in and listen to those on the weekend. Hopefully I'll be able to get my voice back to call the games. Once again, everybody, it's been another Last Drops Baseball production. We'll see you again soon.